the bottom three.
Autumn time in the Atlantic brings surfers of all denominations to the famous shores of Portugal. And in the case of Ericeira, it's the world's best challengers here to compete for the glittering prize of spots for the 2025 Championship Tour. It's the EDP Ericeira Pro early morning vision of our athletes getting ready. It's a brisk and quite chilly morning down here. Glimpses of a little swell in the water. An Olympic gold medalist, no less, flew in late last night. Local talent, the likes of Mafalda Lopes, an incredible surfer from these very shores. And we're looking at a very, very big week of surfing here from Ericeira, a crucial week in the context of the season. A lot of talking points to discuss. And joining myself, Paul Evans, to help keep this fair ship off the rocks, are two beacons of Challenger Series enlightenment. It's Monday and Binzi.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, really good. A little chilly. It's fresh, right?
It's fresh. So you know what that means, though, Paul? Offshore breeze. We've got a nice, lovely, cold, but offshore breeze. The sun's coming up. It's brisk, but it's lovely.
Binzi, it's been a little while since you were back in town, mate. You
Yeah.
is it matching your expectations? Are you stoked?
5 years since I've been in Ericeira, and it's just as good as ever. More surfers. Place is heaving, especially on Saturday night last night. But yeah, great to be here, and looks like we're in for a good one this week.
Yeah, we're here for a good time, but it's strictly business for our surfers on the Challenger Series, and just a couple of events left close to crunch time here. And we've seen how crucial this event has been. A big result here sets you up for a massive finish in Brazil.
It's the only show in town this week, Paul. As you said, there's 2 events left. This one is so pivotal to the dream of making the CT. That's what all these surfers are here. The best surfers in the world are all gathered in Portugal. And there's so much on the line. There's so many good stories. And there's going to be so much drama. I just can't wait to see it just unfold throughout the course of the week.
You look excited, Ben, genuinely.
I'm really excited, Paul.
Yeah.
And it's early and it's the start, but I'm trying to maintain this. I'm going to build on this up to the final.
Yeah, I was a little sleepy when I woke up this morning. When I saw your face and I saw that excitement, that really
just peering over you. Yeah. No.
Guys, so, one of the key ingredients for a surf contest is, of course, waves. And let's find out if we're going to get any, because we need some swell. Obviously, at it catches a lot of swell at this wave. It's a long wave. Let's see what we got throughout the week here on the famous reef at Ribeira de las. Normally red's pretty good.
Red blobs are good. Yeah, there's some swell in the
red.
Atlantic. So that's a good sign, sort of filling up. Another one down there in the south. A bit of purple even, Paul. We love a bit of purple. That means swell. And we're just down on that last little nod there on the Lisbon coast, just north of Lisbon. And here we go. I mean, 2 to 3 foot faces. And 2 to 4 knots of offshore breeze. So that's pretty good. I think those faces might be a little bit underestimated. I reckon we're going to see some solid, what would you call 2 to 3 foot kind of waves, Binzi?
Head
You reckon?
high-ish,
Old
bit
school?
overhead, yeah.
Yeah, sort of head high, a bit more.
Looking forward.
We've got more
coming up.
swell. Yeah, look, there's no mac and swells coming in, but there's a consistent run of sort of 4 foot, we're talking 10, 12, 13 second periods. So it's not going to be huge, but we've got sort of consistent run of swell all week.
A lot of excitement for Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah. Keys to surfing this wave, well, in terms of like thinking about the size of the waves we're probably going to be getting, it's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a bit of endurance as well. It's a long wave.
It's a long wave, and it's got many moods. And, we're going to talk about wave selection. Obviously, we are, because some waves do and some waves don't. That's why it can be problematic. But you know what? If you get the right wave on that right sort of section of the reef, it opens up and you get 200 yards of smackable walls, and they're the ones you want.
Most of the surfers here are looking to try and get spots on the CT. Of course, we've got a couple who are very much established on the Championship Tour. Our surfers in the draw here include a couple of big dogs in the form of Kanoa and Leo. So both based around here. They love spending time here, and they're here to shred Ribeira-Dillas.
Yeah, they are. We've talked about it quite a lot over the years. Kanoa and Leo both having, some residencies just up top of the hill near Coachos there. They spend a good chunk, or if not a majority of the time here surfing these waves, and this wave in particular. So, look, they're the two highest seeds, the two best surfers in the draw, and they spend time here. So you've got to have them as favourites, I would say, if they're motivated.
Be really interesting to see how they get on in the draw here, taking on the best from the Challenger Series. On the women's side, of course, fewer spots available. It's intense, it's competitive. We've got great storylines on the women's side of the draw as well. We'll be looking at those rankings for the women on the other side of the break here on Dawn Patrol. We'll be right back.
Where's Lay? Hi. Did you see my message?
Even the camera's shivering. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol at the EDP Ericeira Pro. Beautiful scenes above Ribera Dilhas here in a crisp early morning. We are looking forward to hopefully getting underway and kicking things off here this morning. Right now, we're focusing in on the women's ranking. So much talent on the women's side of tour. A lot of stories, Binzi, but just 5 spots available. How do we squeeze all that talent into just 5 spots?
Well, it's tough. We've had 4 events, and the top 4 on the rankings have all won one. So that's your sort of shortcut to try and get on there. But 2 to go, and consistency the key for Ericeira in 5th, and then the field wide open for a big bunch of ladies to try and earn their position on next year's championship tour. Let's have a look at some of them right now. So Sally Fitzgibbons is on top. Big win at the US Open. Yeah, Bella Kenworthy, Isabella Nichols and Erin Brooks, they've all claimed 10,000 point Changers wins as well this year. Working our way down the line, Nadia Ericeira from the Basque Country. It's been a while since we've seen a lady from the Basque Country sort of shake up the rankings like this.
It's packed, isn't it? There's that mix of sort of young talent, Erin Brooks, and you know, Ericeira's young, Bella Kenworthy, and then the veterans, Fitzgibbons. I mean, Isabella Nichols has been on the CT for a while now, sort of hovering just on that bubble. And then Bronson McCauley, a West Oz, you know, sort of such an experienced competitor. So I love the mix of that, the mix of sort of veterans and sort of up-and-coming teenagers really trying to crack the CT.
Yeah, speaking of that youthful push, surfers like Bella Kenworthy's been on an absolute tear lately on the Challenger Series, and part of that generation, that big push with different kind of approach to surfing, fresh, exciting, and it's turned into results this season on the Challenger Series. That's why she's going so well. She absolutely tore Belito apart down there in Quaracusa region of South Africa. That was in July. And then on home shores at the US Open, putting on another big performance there. And that's why she's going good in the rankings.
Yeah, she's been really consistent, made 2 finals, 1-1. You know, she's been in and around pro surfing since she was a tiny grime. Her dad, Jason, was a photographer, was involved in the Nike sort of push into surfing. She grew up with sort of Chris Moore, like, you know, almost changing in nappies and stuff. So she's been in and around, but it's great to see her just hit the mark now, really make that step up, and you know, she can make the CT here in Portugal this week, which would be amazing.
Focusing back in on the Euros, we talked about Nadia Ericeira. Ben, you and I saw her in the countdown series here when we were trying to get things going again after COVID, and she absolutely ripped this venue. This is where she is right now this season. It's ultra consistent. What she hasn't done is made a final. Is she going to need to get that qualification done?
Yeah, we were talking about this. I think she does. I think a final is a minimum requirement. I mean, you know, another 2/3 would potentially get her there. You never know. But I think just to get that extra bump in points is really important. Yeah, her backhand is lethal. That's her real strength. She knows this wave. But yeah, I think she's got to make a mark, and she's got to get over those serves. Erin Brooks has beaten her twice. Bella, another one. So she's got to beat one of those star performers to secure her position, I would say.
Well, 3 of the 4 events, she's lost to the eventual winner.
Hey, fucking good point there from Binzi. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. So
great to be back.
she's a great surfer, and the Basque heritage and that area it needs a star, and hopefully it can be Nadia.
The new Aritz.
Wow.
Being coached by Aritz, no less, as well. He'll be here coaching. Let's remind ourselves of what went down last year in the final. The waves were absolutely pumping, and a couple of surfers who have been very recently on the championship want to get back there to the championship tour. Luana Silva and Alyssa Spencer lit this place up. And Alyssa, really, this was the event and the result and the performance that solidified her spot.
Yeah, it was really, really impressive surfing. It's in great conditions we had last year. The finals day was this. Her backhand, again, we talk about those surfers with incredible backhands. I'd say Spencer is one of those. She was on point all event, had some major numbers, and as the swell built, so did her performance. She had a really fierce challenge. Luana Silva has also made a couple of finals here, so it's a wave she loves. A mix of Brazilian and Hawaiian heritage. That real powerful carving style which suits the wave. She's just below in 6. She's right on the money. She's had 2 CT seasons now, so she's experienced. So you think these 2 of the back markers will be the most dangerous.
Yeah, really good to see that contrast of styles there from those two, sitting in 6th and 9th respectively on the Challenger Series rankings for the women. They will need a result over the next 2 events. Speaking on the other side of the draw of the men, one surfer's already got qualification locked in. He'll be on the championship tour once again. Meanwhile, still 9 spots up for grabs. We'll be talking men's ratings when we come back from break. Welcome back to Dawn Patrol at EDP Ericeira Pro. Stop 5 of 6 on the Challenger Series. Early morning scenes look beautiful here as that wind funnels down the valley, grooming the face. Speaking of groomed faces, Ben and Chris, let's turn our attentions to the men on the Challenger Series ratings, because we're here for a good time, but ultimately it's all about getting yourself in that top 10.
Absolutely. There's one prize here in the Challenger Series, and that's that all-important CT qualification. These 10 guys are the best place to do it. Top 10 get through. There's a lot of Brazilians in that top mix, a real mix again of experience. Look at those ones, Benzie, like Emrod, Alain Muniz, Samuel Pupo, Miguel Pupo, you know, like those guys have been around a long time.
Ian
Gavea, so experienced, so gnarly. And to try and dislodge them is going to be difficult. I like that George Bitar. He is one real sort of fresh air. He's a young kid from, you know, grew up in the islands and has moved to Manly, and now he's really shown his mark on the Challenger Series in his first real year on it, really.
Well, not just the Challenger Series. He got the wild card at Bells, string of sizzling performances, then surfed all the way through to the semis at Margaret River, lost to John John. No shame in losing to John John at Margaret River. And we saw Al Cleland's name on the list as well.
Yeah, big movers and shakers. Let's remind ourselves what Alan got done, and absolutely turned a lot of promise and a lot of sort of rep in terms of free surfing and kind of big barrels and all that sort of stuff. He turned it into a really solid statement, competitive performance. Did it over there at the US Open, and that's really set him up for a big season here inside the top 10. Can he keep it going?
Well, I think you can. I think that might be one of those real events that changes the career because, as you said, a big rep, a lot of free surfing, incredible power turns. But to do that in that event under severe competitive stress in tiny waves proves that he's more than just a power monger. He's got some competitive smarts, some competitive brains, and he wants it. So yeah, I think he can push on, especially if this wave should suit his style. And I love it. He just brings a whole new sort of fresh angle to surfing, Cleland.
I think he just needs to bring that same energy. Like, he's forged his reputation as a lunatic in crazy waves. He's grown up at Pascuales in Mexico, big heavy barrels. We've seen him in Quicksilver movies, just sending it, and then obviously marginal conditions at the US Open, but he fed off the energy of the crowd and turned it into a win. Can he get something out of the crowd here in Portugal this week and, dig deep and do what he did at Huntington? Who knows? There's a big prize on the line.
What a great talking point, on the verge of making history with our first ever surfer from the CT from Mexico. So that surfer's in the ascendancy on the way up. Let's talk the wounded animals. Beware of them. These are surfers relegated from the CT, and there's so much talent in there, and you wouldn't really bet against any of them in getting straight back on tour.
Well, two of them have won here before, Sam Pupo and David Silva.
Yeah, exactly. David's the defending champion, so he knows his wave. His backhand's lethal. Jacob Wilcox, chipper again. We talk about his backhand that can really do some damage, and he's done well here in the past and sort of just hovering on the cusp after a pretty disappointing rookie year. I mean, a lot of these guys, we saw it all out. You go through all the emotions, getting on the cut, making it all happen. You get there, and then within 4 or 5 events, you're off. And it's a real roller coaster. It's how those guys there on that list can fight back and get over that disappointment is going to be key.
Yeah, David Silva, he's the defending champion. We've seen him tearing on his backhand all over the world, particularly at Winky Pop on tour. Speaking of, we mentioned Jacob Wilcox earlier. A lot of the Aussies has been an incredible run in Victoria over the past couple of months. A lot of these Aussies have been down to Bells to get some reps in for this event. Back to David Silva, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you think a surfer really, almost like his surfing's kind of designed for this exact wave. He's got that low center of gravity. He's got some power in the buttocks and in the thighs. He gets really low and he just smashes the lip here. And he is so good at this wave. And that's why he went for a big statement win. He had a bunch of excellent scores. He basically dominated this event last year.
Yeah, from start to finish. The spray he was generating, he got in his groove. It can be a bit hot and cold, but once he gets that wind-up machine going, and he never looked like losing. He in the final, he was unbeatable. He was getting 8s and 9s, often throwing away 8s and 9s in a lot of heats. He was unstoppable, and it was amazing to see. He's going to need that form to get back on the CT here again.
Stop 5 of 6 on the Challenger Series, which means we've got clinching scenarios. When we come back from break here, we'll be looking at what our surfers need to do to get on the CT for 2025. All that on Dawn Patrol right after this.
So free surfers, please, 5 minutes to start now. Free surfers, please. Clear the competition area immediately, please. Free surfers, catch your last ones. We're about to start in less than 5 minutes. So please, don't push it. Most of you are competitors as well, so you know we really all want what you're talking about, so please, free surfers, clean the competition area as soon as possible. Thank you. All free surfers, guys, we're now in 3 minutes to start. We're using that competition area immediately now, please. Thank you.
Welcome back to Dawn Patrol. It's the EDP Ericeira Pro. Beautiful lines on the refit at Ribera Dilhaz. As we see first glimpses of some waves in the water. What do you reckon, lads?
Ah, it looks great, doesn't it? There's lines coming in. It's pretty low tide as that sort of, hopefully the tide pushes in over that reef. We'll get a bit of a push. But yeah, sunny, beautiful waves.
Super clean. And that's, you know.
You think we're going to be on?
I reckon. Should we find out?
I reckon let's go and get the official word. I think let's go and hear from Travis Logie, who's standing by with Joanna Garnell.
Good morning, guys. It's great to be back. It's a bit chilly this morning, but who cares? We're here to watch some surfing, right? And you had a big decision this morning. What was the chat about?
Absolutely. Actually, it wasn't such a big decision. The waves are so fun. It's 3-4 foot on the sets, maybe clean offshore. It looks really fun out there. All that swell's kind of, there's still a bit of leftover. So yeah, women's round 1, 8 heats. We'll see how far we get. Men's round 1's on standby 2. So we'll just monitor the conditions as we go.
And how amazing is this event? Because there's been a lot of surfers qualify for the CT. Would you agree that this is a very important step for that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a huge event, second last event of the year. So you see a lot of moving up and down the rankings. A lot of people confirming their positions. A lot of people at the end of this event will know that they don't have a shot. So every heat's a pressure heat, a career make or breaker. So we're glad we got a pretty good looking forecast. So hopefully it's going to go off with a bang, and we're going to run most of those heats in decent waves.
That's amazing. We can't wait. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Joanna. We had to wait for our Travie this morning, but we got him, and we got him good. The beanie, the hoodie, the bomber jacket. He looks great.
Oh, it's tick, 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 tick. And we had to wait, because we do, but I'll wait all day. I'll wait all year for Trav, and he's delivered. You know, was it a difficult decision? No, not at all. Fun waves, and as you said, every heat could be make or break, Paul.
Great news is we're on, and there's repercussions, of course, from this event. Let's check out some of our clinching scenarios. It's where we're at. We know that Bella Kenworthy in number 2 needs to make semis. Meanwhile, Fitzgibbons, Nichols, or Brooks make the final. They're on. There's just 5 spots available.
It is so tight, and even those guys have all had wins, multiple finals, they still need, you know, go all the way basically to clinch it here and not have to result in Brazil. So, you know, they can do it here. I reckon we will get some CT qualifiers in Portugal. We always do.
Benzie, you think it's hard being a surfer, trying to keep those scenarios out of your mind? It's taking it heat by heat, wave by wave. I mean, that's the classic trope, but that must be pretty tough to do. You're so close to it here.
They all know the maths. Come on. There's no one, like, at this level, you're not playing dumb. Everyone knows what they need, but you can't afford to spend too much time thinking about it. Go out there and let the surfing do the talking.
Mafalda Lopes here with the local knowledge. Just being careful to bring that board back in. And this surfer has been absolutely incredible this year. She was amazing on the Gold Coast to fire off the Challenger Series. So that's the storyline for the women. We've got the men's clinching scenarios as well to check out and see exactly what's happening there. Of course, 10 spots available for the men. And what we know is Ian Gouveia, he's on, he's in, it's happening.
Yeah, Ian's done all his hard work already. Shows you that a couple of big wins. That one in South Africa has got him over the line, so he can just come here and just express himself. Pupo, quarterfinal, not a big ask. That's a couple of heats for him. A man who's done so well here before. So I'd back Sammy Pupo to win the CT.
Did you see the vision of him running down the beach earlier? He might have been doing squats and quad work with David Silver.
I liked all the little different jogs down the beach. Call up this sort of early morning jogs down the beach. There's Freddie Moraes. Now he's way down the list, but he's going to be dangerous. Of course, Justin Becret there too. So they're all just coming down the beach of all of their surfs.
Minho in the top 10.
Dakota Walters.
We just saw those clinching things, but some of these guys, he got the final. He jumped like 46 places. You know, you can, with one massive result in this Challenger Series, you can make serious gains on that real estate on that board.
Cowley Vast, Olympic gold medalist, flew in late last night.
He's got the golden quickie sticker on the beach.
Got to town about 1 a.m. So a late night for him. First heat for the men, but of course we've had the official call, and just to reiterate, everyone's getting booted out because we are on here and we're on with the women. It'll be heat 1 of the round of 48 for the women. That's the rock dance here.
I love it. I love it. The best surfers in the world end up looking like Gumbies like the rest of us. At least.
You see that stretch, dead low tide, uneven ground.
Oh, she needs a result here. Sophia Medina, because just 5, she's in the top 10, but not good enough for the women. Just 5 spots available, and she'll be looking to go big here in Portugal. It's been a happy hunting ground for Brazilian surfers down the years, of course.
Yeah, Sophia's been coming here a long time and hanging out with her brother Gabe and knows the wave too. And yeah, she can see that site. So her first real year of making a dent in the Challenger Series. So it's great to see her just starting to come out of her brother's shadow, and I'm really looking forward to see how she surfs.
We're going to get ready to start here. We're underway. 30-minute heats, 4 surfers in the water. And let's go. The EDP Ericeira Pro is on. And we're kicking off with the women here as we see clean lines fill in from the Atlantic. There's been a little bit of shifts in sort of the forecast of what we were looking at. Things were looking a bit miserable, a bit miserly. They got a lot better. We got some energy. Having a look at Teresa Bonvalo of Portugal. In red, we'll have Nora Liotta of Hawaii in blue, Minami Nanoka of Japan in white, and Constancia Simaus of Portugal should be in the green. There she is right there, Ribeira Diaz, the name of the game, Ben. Hit the lip, carve it up, go fast, impress the panel.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. I mean, it's not rocket science out here. The wave has its challenges, but what it does offer is equal opportunity. Most waves in the set, often you get 3 sets. And look at this one, Paulie. First wave ridden in Ango this week.
Nonaka, lots 2 stage on the cutback, bit sticky there. And this is a great looking wave, and she needs to just loosen up a little bit. That's a bit better. It is a stiff, cold morning. And her surfing reflecting that the early part of the wave, but things getting more radical, more lithe and limber through to an inside section. So multiple turns from her. Meanwhile, Teresina, she knows this wave better than anybody here, possibly better than anybody on the planet. She'll look to try and use some of that knowledge on an inside section, and it's tense moments, first heat. Talk about how much is up for grabs here and so few spots available. Of course, there's no safety net. You lose, you're out. Teresa will be carrying the hopes of a proud surfing nation.
Yeah, I love that about the Challenger Series, that every single heat matters. You know what? There's always drama. There's so much on the line, and that's one of the why. You know, it's the beauty of it. I love the format. And yeah, Teresa, you see, she knows this wave. She hoped to build on this. So I like the Japanese surfers' first wave. The coaches would have said, "Look, go out, show some intent, show what you're out of." And she looked super busy and super kind of invested in it all, Paul. She maybe didn't quite get the turns and the rail engaged, but I liked her energy. The vibe, or so to speak. Do they judge on vibes these days?
No.
They should do.
Not in the criteria.
Really? Power, flow and vibes? I like this from her. I like the fact that she waited time. There's a few little transitions on the bottom end turns. Those little wiggles there that the judges won't like in terms of the flow criteria. But she stuck with it and she got a score. So in the first wave of the morning, never easy. You're nervous. A lot on the line. You're the first wave of the first heat of the first day of the competition. But I think she'll be happy with that. The confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's freezing out there. That wind, that north wind kind of bends and goes offshore out the valley here at Ribeira, but it is Baltic out there. Single digit in Celsius. Probably, well, certainly the coldest event on the Challenger Series. It feels like the first day of autumn here in Portugal. It's been pretty warm. It's been nice, actually. And this morning it's very fresh indeed. And so first heat down here in the dark, wetting up the cold water, dealing with the rocks, and then having to go out and perform. Number in for her, it's pretty good, 5.67. So a decent mid-range number. Maybe feel if you're going to be harsh, maybe there are a couple more points available with that wave. You think 4 surfers in the water. How many like legit, really good set waves are you going to get in half an hour? Not that many. Meanwhile, speaking of which, Teresinha, it all goes a bit wrong.
Yeah, despite all the experience, a bit of an awkward exchange. Yeah, there was some points potentially left on that wave, but you know what? Two fives, I think, in this early stage of these rounds will get you through. So I think it's a solid score.
Let's talk some Teresa, Ben. She needs to go deep into the event here. She needs a result. She's just outside the top 10 here. She's an Olympian. We know all about her pedigree. She's been around forever. What's it going to take for her to turn this into a massive result at home?
Well, it's really difficult, I think, for Bonblow because of that pressure. Because A, she needs a result. She can't afford to slip up. B, there's so much interest and fans, which, you know, she loves, she thrives on. But it really is, you know, compared to most surfers in the field, she's got a lot going on. There's a lot of extra noise, a lot of extra baggage. So she's so experienced. She's been so close for so long. I mean, she almost got the CT. She had a few cracks at it. Just right on that cusp and always been so close. And I think that also adds to a little bit of pressure. But having said that, she's had so many heats here. She's won so many heats here. So yeah, the answer to your question, I think she's just got to stick to a knowledge of the wave, just cut it back to the basics of picking the best waves in each heat. She's got the surfing to go all the way if she does that and not make any mistakes. Look at that textured water pool. It's clean as it gets, isn't it, around these parts.
Velvety on the sea surface here this morning as we're underway. That EDP Ericeira Pro 2024. And round about shoulder to head high on the sets. Maybe that surf might drop a touch throughout the day. We're on for the women here. And we're looking at lines coming in and they'll bend in onto the refit. We're maybe about halfway, 2/3 the way out the back from where the peak could be if there was a bit more size. So not as long as some of the rides might be, and that gives surfers really the chance to kind of keep surfing throughout the wave with less downtime throughout. Here goes Liotta, opens up a slopey face, and banks one back into the white water with power. Just chops that turn down, realizing that wave is softening while she's committed to the turn. That happens a lot here, making that adjustment crucial. She does it pretty well through to an inside. She'll be looking for this thing to steepen up onto the rocks here. Off the bottom, sets up, snaps into the lip, and again, nice combo and good spray from the last turn. It always feels like when you get that last turn solid, I don't know if the turns necessarily count where they come on the wave, if she did that one as a first or second turn, but it just feels like a nice way to finish the ride.
Yeah, it's an old question, isn't it? That last turn, what it's worth. Is it worth more than the first turn, etc., etc.? I think it's baked into the judging criteria that last turn has to be good, and I don't mind that. I think it's the exclamation point, it's the finish point, and as you said, Lyoto, she got 2 at the end here, waited a time, a lot more patient than the Japanese surfer. I mean, there weren't huge turns, but she clicked it and got a bit of spray. So again, just that first wave is really important. Didn't make any mistakes. Got a nice wave. She'll be happy with that, I'd imagine.
Speaking of the judges, what is it? What makes them go giddy? What do they really like? Is it
the
combos?
free buffet.
Yeah.
Free buffet,
Okay.
mate. They just get so excited.
In terms of the surfing?
Oh, and surfing. You know, they like spray. They like big turns. If you can get 2 turns out the back that are solid and then finish off strong, they love that business. But they like intent as well, and they like risk as judges.
Well, yeah, great point. I mean, what a difference an angle makes. So you look in, you know, the traditional angle at the wave, you're thinking, this looks pretty cruisy. This is nice. And then you look at the drone shot and you see dry boulders gargling and draining, basically underneath the fins.
You're like, yeah, often at this wave, we said it so many times, especially as the swell increases, like, God, why didn't you hit that last section? They pan up and there's a monolith. It's like a 10-foot size block that was carved out of limestone 4 million years ago, like right in their way.
It's all urchin. It's basically just an aggregate of urchin spikes.
They're kind of like doing a re-entry on one of those, like, you know, those barley fences with all the shards of glass on the top. It's kind of like doing a re-entry over one of those.
All right, here goes Simão. What she got here. 1-2 Portugueses in the water. Back into a pocket. This is a softer wave, but that's an aggressive turn like that. And that cool style. Keeping alive here, keeping the board moving. Just wants to get involved here. She'll have heard scores and seen waves from everyone else in this heat. And important just to stay in contention, stay in motion, get that priority rotation and get moving. Plenty of time for Constancia. Still just under 21 minutes to go, but that's going to feel a lot better. Get rid of some of those nerves, get surfing.
Yeah, she's the wild card in the event. Would have been thinking about this heat and this wave probably for a long time in terms of the build-up. It wasn't a good wave as some of her competitors, but she looked confident. She looked set on a board. She never looked like falling off or making mistakes. She didn't get a whole lot of opportunity. Again, 10 minutes gone. She waited a while for it. You got to be happy, although you could sort of see a little bit of frustration at the end there that wave didn't offer, you know, what she wanted to do.
Yeah, you see the style there. That's something that we've seen in the younger generation, of that sort of quieter upper body, and that style kind of being influenced by some of the surfing heroes, trying to keep things looking kind of cool, almost sort of skatery with the quiet arms. And that new generation of women, of course, the young upstarts, just doing all sorts of things on the Challenger Series. We're amongst, really, we're not on the cusp of a revolution. It's happening, Ben. They've breached the gates.
Yeah, they really have. And it's, to me, it's where all the really interesting things is happening in surfing right now. I think there's more change, there's more progression, there's more young surfers coming through. So just by its very nature, that's where I think a lot of the better stories are in surfing right now.
Nanaka, much better from her as she whips one back, figure 8 all the way to the whitewater again. And then that wave will just fizzle out. It's not what she wanted. Good commitment to the early turns. The squad from Japan, speaking of styles, just absolutely textbook from them. They really do make things look beautiful, nothing out of place, everything really, really textbook.
It's interesting, that point about the quiet upper body. I mean, a lot of people tell me to keep my upper body quieter.
Yeah, can you just hush down the upper body?
The upper body part of it. But it's also the coaching element. Like, you know, these young surfers, they get coached from a young age. You see them down on the beach, 5, 6 years old with the videos on, and it's that mix of letting your natural style show and showing you unique versus getting coached, getting, you know, refined and getting that technique down pat. And
radical orthodoxy.
It is, Paul, and you know, I think John Forrence is probably the best example of letting someone show with a bit of a slightly unorthodox style, but making it work. And I just, yeah, it's such a fine balance for those coaches to let them express themselves the way they want, but keep the technique sort of on point.
Here goes Samos again here. And again, jamming that rail into a face, which can be a tricky one if you commit too much. You don't want to do safety turns, you don't want to nurse it. So you want to commit, you want to gouge. But if you do that here at Ribeira, sometimes the wave will just wobble and go soft right underneath you. You committed, your rail's underwater. Meanwhile, backhand attack. Here goes Bonvolo off the bottom, off the top, and underwater.
Yeah, and see they're getting nervous now, the brain's trust. I'm just seeing a few mistakes creep into Bonvolo's game. Meanwhile, that's a better turn, and right in Bonvolo's face. And so, the also the Hawaiian, the Maui surfer, just finishing off there. So, Teresa is in a bit of, not trouble, she's got a lot of time, but you can just sense there's a bit of nervousness creeping into not only her surfing, but also the beach as well.
Yeah, again, that shot just reveals, Leota, how close she is to those rocks. And we're at that stage of the tide, and also the size of the wave where it does pretty much break right into there. And she is showing all sorts of commitment to get this finishing section done.
Yeah, nice tag of that first turn, as we said. We're talking about the judges they want a bit of risk, so like one big turn out the back, and Leota did that. Yeah, we've seen those rocks. Well, famously, or infamously, we've seen Teresa herself end up on those rocks quite a few years ago, where she put it all on the line a few years ago, ended up just doing a massive backhand on that rock and got wedged against it. And Cortez coming and saved the day, so she's committed.
Heat leader Nanaka here, just working over the wall. A cut back again from high, it's a little bit sluggish. She's just sort of struggling really to power through the turns and having to just almost pull out of the turn early on. But just contrast that with the work from Leota at the end. I really enjoyed that combo, that hit off the top. And there's different ways of doing it. It can be a long wave. You get a lot of cutbacks and you're drawing everything out and going a long way. But I really like that combination on the end. Let's see where the judges put that. This just a touch sluggish here from Nanaka.
Yeah, she went pretty straight on this one. So just couldn't find any sort of vertical elements whatsoever. Couldn't rebound off the foam without any spice, and then this is one section she got hung up on that just never offered any waves, so she stuck with it. But yeah.
Even at this size, it does feel like this is the type of wave that if you're a surfer who's super light in stature, can be tricky really to drive the board and keep those rails committed throughout the wave. We'll get another look here. It looks pretty dreamy and set up in front of her, but deceptively difficult to surf this wave, Ben.
Yeah, there's no steep face whatsoever. So you can see that kind of the surge of the wave. It's almost all unbreaking wave, but it's still just pushing you along. So it's like really difficult to, it's great to cruise along and get some speed, but it's in terms of scoring points in a high quality competition, it's difficult unless it's really hitting that reef properly.
15 minutes on the clock, the midway point in the heat here. We're all caught up with numbers. Leota's second score, a 4-4, good enough for second. It's still that first wave from Nonaka, Japanese surfer, the 5.67. It was by far and away the best wave, just in terms of the wave itself that we've seen throughout that. Having done a few events here down the years, as soon as you're watching that wave, you know kind of what conditions you like. You're thinking, this is a bit of a gem. This is a great looking wave. And she was able to get herself in position to get that. There is a certain element of luck always involved in surfing. But if you're in tune with the ocean, you got your rhythm all dialed in, it can set you up for great, great things here on the Challenger Series. It's a beautiful morning in Portugal. Sunday morning, we're kicked off at the EDP Ericeira Pro. Stop 5 of 6 on the Challenger Series. Women in the water right now. It's the Japanese surfer Nonaka at the moment in the lead. More live action from Ericeira, Portugal, right after this. The World Surf League's Challenger Series welcomes you back to Ericeira, Portugal. It's the EDP Ericeira Pros top 5 and 6 on the Challenger Series, looking to qualify women for the Championship Tour. 5 spots available. Major implications and repercussions from a big week of surfing back in Portugal. I'm Paul Evans, joined by Ben Mundy, who's been coming to Portugal for years. His love for the place is so deep. And mate, I want to drill into it really. What are some of your favourite things about this part of the world? What do you love about it so much? The place? Okay, yeah. Okay.
I love Portugal, Paul.
Okay.
I just love it.
Glad we cleared that up. Thanks.
Yeah. So I was just taking. I had so much time to think about it, and I just. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's the people, the food, the places, the trees, the breeze.
Looking forward to drilling into this deeply throughout the week. Yeah, big set outside, catches everyone. And let's see if we'll get a spin and go maybe wide. Teresa having a look. She's in 4th place at the moment. Bonvalo in the red singlet, the goofy, the preheat favourite, the highest ranked surfer at the moment. Struggling here, Ben. Something of a surprise. She needs to get her skates on.
Yeah, she needs 2 waves, really, and she's got 10 minutes. The only positive right now is that she's got priority, so she gets the first pick. She missed that set, but yeah, she'll be starting to really feel the pinch now. This is not where she wanted to be at this stage in the heat.
Is it too early to mention the priority book? Have we got any updates on a publishing date, Ben? I know you've been working on your priority book for a number of years.
Yeah, inverting the
triangle,
inverting the priority, and look, it's just a subject that there's so much to it. And every time the publishers say, "Look, is it ready?" I'm like, "Look, it's ready." And then there'll be some rapid transformation in the priority game.
Yeah, Charles Dickens famously passed away while he was unfinished, wasn't he? His last book that he was working on never got done. We are getting slightly closer towards that. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, if Paul, I would hope that you would take on my legacy.
It'd be an honour. Here goes Teresa Bonvalo up and surfing here off the bottom. Bang, cracks the whip and manages to keep the speed going. That's nice. Good aggressive snap. This is exactly what she needed. Great rhythm to it. Adjust the feet. Boom. Into the lip. And the Portuguese crowd will enjoy that. She's back on. Meanwhile, here goes Liotta with a good crack of the whip into the lip. Unfortunately, she'll go down here. 2nd place surfer prior to that exchange. And Teresa, good chance of her really firing up a campaign.
Yeah, that was really smart surfing from Teresa. And that's the mark of a bit of class, a bit of experience. She's just had a point of difference from the other 4 surfers. She was vertical, she was throwing some spray. And I would say that's the best way of the heat, and she needed it. So, yeah, just, none of those nerves we were talking about that she obviously would have been feeling. Just started to concentrate on her own surfing. I mean, there's not a lot of variety, but there's that finish we talk about. The backhand is smooth, and compared to some of the other waves, that's going to be a big difference in this heat. Hopefully for her and her camp there, something to build on. So we'll see what the scores come in. But yeah, I was impressed with the fact that she just got herself back in the heat, bought her some time, and she's back in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things holding up your book. It's like, who's going to write the forward? Because obviously, generally most surf books.
Yeah,
it's Slater. It's kind of like number 1. Lock him in.
No,
Is it?
I'm not doing
Are you
him.
deliberating? Is it Ratso? I mean, who are you hoping to get to really?
Well, Gabriel Medina is basically.
You're in talks.
Yeah, we're in talks. His people. We've been talking to my people. Look, he's up for it. He loves the concept. He loves the idea of priority. He lives for priority. It's one of his favourite things he does. And so yeah, he's keen. He's really keen.
Great looking next heat. Safi Vet right there in white, taking on Laura Rapp, Sarah Wakita. Also Mia Hupats taken to the water. And you notice different energy, different expressions on our surfers before they head out to do battle. Some look relaxed and happy. That always feels like the best performance you're going to get. That's when it's all smiles and loose and limber.
Happy Hupats. She was looking really relaxed and having a good time down there. line start to march in, and Bombo pulling the trigger again.
Here goes Ericeira. Bang, vertical hit into the lip, just the one turn from her. Her score for previous to that, a 5.17, puts her in third. Now she's looking for 2.9, 7 on the clock. One turn, Ben?
That's a mistake, I would say. I know that she just wanted to get back in the game. She's got that 5.17, that one turn. You know, I might get into a second, but I think with this, you know, small amount of time left on the clock, I think she does need a wave with a couple of open faces, and that's just gobbled up a bit of time she doesn't really have. It's a nice vertical turn. She needs a 2.9 to get into that second place. I just feel that she needs more open face, which is what Constantia might want to try and do here.
Here goes Samaus. Beautiful carve with loads of spray, just driving back, jamming into a pocket. And super patient. Now this one steepens up and she says, have a bit of this. And swings that board, hooks it in the pocket. Looking to get out fourth, looking to try and attack Liotta in that second place position. And it's 8 in terms of surfers advancing at the moment. Let's have another look at this. Good aggressive style.
Yeah, she's putting on rail and she's just being nice and patient. There you go, some nice carves, bit of spray. Again, that it's, you know, the wave didn't offer a lot of opportunity for variety. But I like it. This third one, I think, is probably the one where she put the nose grunt into it, this one there. So, right in the mix. Young wild card. Again, showing no nerves. Surfing to her ability. Getting good waves. I mean, she's doing everything right. Just probably needs to just find that lip a bit more.
Corduroy lines here, filling in at Ribera Dilas. Paddle at the top of the point from your heat leader. Nanaka driving hard. Much nicer, aggressive, crisper surfing from her. And manages to find that line all the way back to the whitewash. A snap off the tail. And this is much more linked up with speed as well. Into the lip. Got there a little early there, and we'll forgive her for that because the rocks were looming. Teresa back at it. Bang! Whoa, it's a great turn. And another one. So Teresa, after a weird start to this, she kept falling off much, much better. And she'll belt this here multiple times. Does well to get out. Whoa, and a great hit. What an exchange this is. Liotta driving hard into the lip with speed and aggression and arriving late, making it look good. So we reckon a good number to come in for Bombolo real soon. She moves up. That was her last wave, actually. Got her a 3, just the one turn. Did get her into second, as you thought, Ben, but we've got another score to come in for her. We also got a wave for Nonaka, the heat leader, to come in, as well as Nora Liotta. This is Nora.
Yeah, it's a two-turn combo, wasn't it? I just feel she's a little bit late to that last one, but did it well with style. I think that first turn, she might be able to get the fins out a bit more. You see the difference here with Teresa. Just a lot of spray. She's really just pushing it a bit harder and putting in that tiny element of risk. And she's got more spray coming out of it. The combination means that she's just getting, you know, bigger points.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's going to be a topic we're going to visit a lot this week. But going backhand as opposed to going on your forehands, a lot similar looking stuff, you know. This is a nice wave here from the Naka, but dealing with a lot of cutbacks. I think Teresa's able to do a course that's go that much more vert there.
Yeah, exactly. You've only got one way to go straight up. That was a nice little squirt there from the Naka. But yeah, it is a point of difference. You can get vertical. It's proven. We've seen some. Well, we've seen Medina win here. We've seen Ryan Callanan, Silva, Alyssa Spencer. So the Goofies have done well here over the years, despite being often the minority in terms of representation. And so, yeah, and Bombolo just showing a bit of class, a bit of difference, and also just a bit more aggression, I think, has been the key to her, just getting over that poor start. Good, strong mentality too.
Yeah, exactly right. She fell off a few times. It was getting a little awkward for her. She only needs a 4.08. Really good chance of getting the high score of the heat. It felt a lot like the best surfing of the opening 27 minutes or so of this half-hour heat. We're underway on the Challenger Series in Ericeira. Counting down with just over 2.5 on the clock. Teresa Bombolo at the moment is in an advancing position in second, but a very, very strong chance to get a first. And her number comes in for a last effort. It comes in as a 4.87, so actually slightly under. Nevertheless, it's not quite a high score. Nevertheless, it is the highest two-wave total. She goes to first place position, Ben, and Portugal will be breathing a collective sigh of relief.
Yeah, she's done well. She's fought back from a bit of a tough position. Just did it with a minute on the fast, so it was down 10 minutes to go. We said she needed 2 waves. Well, she's done that and got up into that first spot. So it's the first wave of the whole event. And that was the Japanese surfer Nanaka. She said showed intent, but just not enough kind of spray. That was probably her best turn so far. It's a great looking wave, isn't it? We thought, here we go, we're on here. And there's another one. So this was a really strong start of 5.67, I think, and got her off, and she was up and running. That's got her in the second spot. Backed it up again now. The Hawaiian, different approach here, just tagging the lip. I still think she could probably maybe get those fins out just a little bit more on that first turn. There's sort of crumbly lip, it lets you do that. She finishes well. So the early runnings were from those 2 surfers. At this stage, Bombolo was falling off. She was making a few mistakes, and she wasn't in the mix. And it was these 2 surfers that were capitalising, getting these inside runners, and just showing not a whole lot of aggression, but mistake-free surfing, and finished off there. And then we saw Bombolo. She came back strong. She needed 2 waves. She showed a style, showed a composure as well. Not huge scores, but she sort of played to the score she needed. A couple of 5s. Got her in first place, Paul, and that's where she wants to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
To go.
Yeah, and there'll be a big relief from the squad here, all involved in putting the pieces together of the career of Teresa Bombolo. And it's been a glittering one thus far. As we mentioned, represent Portugal in the Olympic Games. There's one thing that she is as yet to achieve, which is qualify as a full-time member of the Championship Tour. She has had appearances on that tour. She served well. She's looked like she can keep company with the very best, earning a spot. Competing 2025 will be the goal here. She's not miles back coming into this one. She's ranked just outside that top 10, but crucially it's the top 5 for the women. Meanwhile, it is Nonaka will use the priority over Liotta to go here. A smaller wave, just a block and maneuver out of time. She'll surf this one through, and she'll keep swinging and snapping. And really, at this stage, it's all about building up that experience of the wave that she'll need when she surfs her next heat. She will advance in second place because it'll be Teresa Bombolo, this woman right here of Portugal, who gets the win. And after a shaky start with a couple of falls, looking a little bit baffled and out of sorts, she turned it right around quickly. She caught waves, she rode them well. Teresa Bombolo will advance with the win alongside the young Japanese surfer Minami Nonaka. That's your 1-2. Advancing, tough luck for Liotta and Simaus. They'll bow out of competition here. Beradil has delivering already, slightly exceeding our expectations, I'll say, Ben, in terms of the size of the waves.
Consistency was great, wasn't it? We didn't have to wait for the sets. The sets were pouring through, regular intervals. All 4 surfers had opportunities. No one was ripped off, which is what this wave does. It does give you, it gives all 4 surfers the same chance.
Dillis doesn't let you down, mate.
Ah, the Dilly. We love the Dilly. And it's, strong start. That's 2 surfers, and there's always going to be 2 heartbreakers with the Japanese. They're wrapped.
Thank you so much for your patience.
Such a good camaraderie amongst the sort of different groups on the Challenger Series. And, good strong start, good waves, good times, good fun. I've had a ball, Paul.
Teresa Bombolo flying the Portuguese flag, stoking out this proud surfing nation. More live action from Portugal when we come back from break. We'll bring Binsey back in for the call. Stay tuned.
Oh. welcome back to live action here from the EDP Ericeira Pro. There is Teresa Bombolo. She is the winner of that first heat after a bit of a tricky start. She overcome some obstacles. She's not overly happy, but she's stoked to get that through. So a big win for the first Portuguese surfer. My name's Ben Mundy with Food and Paul Evans out. And we have brought in Chris Binns in. Chris Binns, you've been out there circulating amongst the crowd. What's the vibe out there, mate? What's the general feeling?
Oh, it is Arctic down there. You know, we've been in the booth all morning studying the action. Obviously, the sun's come out, so I expect things to heat up pretty quickly. This is Mia Huppert's. This is her second wave, so she already has a 1. All 3 of our 4 surfers have 1s to their name, but this is a better wave for Mia Huppert's. She's from Victoria in Australia, has relocated to Burleigh Heads on the Gold Coast. She's a proud Burleigh board rider surfer. And this is resembling the rock break at Burleigh right now. And Mia Huppert's is going to work through to the inside. And this is going to be the best wave we've seen of our second heat here in the round of 48. She's up against her good friend, Safi Vet, the Kiwi, who's Olympian. Raup is the #1 ranked Brazilian surfer, Sarah Wakita from Japan. And talk us through this replay of
as you said, she, you know, Victorian surfer, used to some right-hand points, relocated up to the Gold Coast, more right-hand points. She's on a right-hand point here, and she's found all the sections, didn't it? Just kept on giving. There was one turn here down the end there. It was particularly noteworthy. And for the first surf of the Challenger Series here in Portugal, first time over here, she's done really well. Great start. Kept on giving that wave. Solid surfing from Mia.
Well, tale of two halves, really, because the up the top of this wave wasn't really coming together too well for Mia. Maybe a little bit cold. Spoke to a few of the surfers just then wearing 4.3s this morning, which is quite a bit of rubber. We've all been in 3.2s in the last few days. But then, found her groove as she worked her way down the line. And the second half of this wave was pretty strong for Mia Huppert's, a 3.83 coming in as the result. So you can imagine if you pair that bottom half with a bit more of that type of stuff up the top, you're looking at a 6 and above. Yeah, it's a lot of work for 3.83, wasn't it? So that's what it is. Still the high-scoring heat wave of the heat so far. She looked really relaxed on the beach. She looked really having a good time and all smiles, which sort of showed me surfing. And as you said, Chris, that sun just starting to peek over the edge of the top of the cliff there. Due west here. Lovely colour of the water, and it's the Brazilian Laura Rupp looking at this one. Just doesn't get it. I think that's a potential priority decision judge will have to make. Peter, Japanese surfer, really like her style as well. So we're seeing surfers from all over the world. And Chris, Laura, great surfer from Brazil, but it's just that one facet of Brazilian surfing that we're waiting to see the next charge with the women really coming through. We've had some great surfers over the years, but not in significant numbers. Why do you think that is? Yeah, the Brazilian storm's kind of been fairly one-sided over the years. Obviously, Silvana Lima flew the flag for a long time for the Brazilian women. More recently, we've seen Luana Silva and Tatiana Weston Webb, but they both grew up in Hawaii. Sarah Wakita on screen, she's a Japanese surfer, but she lives in Hawaii half the time. Her dad, Taka Wakita, is a notorious pipeline charger, and her brother, Taichi Wakita, is also a North Shore standout. Here goes Laura Rupp. She won the big QS last year in Brazil at Saquarema. And that's got her... Sorry, I beg your pardon. This is Safi Vet in the white rashi, the Kiwi. Working her way through the inside. So nothing really coming together there for Safi. Yeah, it's a lot of bumping. A lot of that one. That is the blue. Yeah, the blue singlet is quite white. So just for surf fans out there, yeah, at the moment. So that was Laura, but couldn't get any kind of purchase on that way from Florianopolis. Yeah, you talk about those Brazilians. Yeah, you're right, Paul. But yeah, this way, it's just Chris. I'll talk you through it. Not a lot to talk through, but she just couldn't find any sort of steep face. There is a few more Brazilians coming through. Sophie Medina, obviously, another one in the top 10. Do you think it's going to take,
few years for the depth to come through. Surely it's only a matter of time before they start making their mark, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's been female Brazilian bodyboarders around for a long, long time. Whether that's been kind of the avenue of choice for Brazilian water women over the years. But yeah, Sophie Medina definitely, obviously a big name to watch out for. I saw she's here with Charlie Medina.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, we see some sets approaching, but the winner of that last heat, she's down on the beach. Teresa Bombolo is with Joanna Garnell. All yours, Joanna.
Congratulations, the first heat of the event. What happened there in the beginning? You took your time to build your score.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the waves are getting harder throughout the day because it's dropping. And I mean, I was watching on the free surf from the outside, and there was plenty of waves, more towards the inside, a few more towards the outside. So I had like my plan well structured in my head. But I mean, it definitely seems that it's just like getting way slower. So yeah, there was like not many good waves in the beginning. I'll say the first 15 minutes, that was only the score from the Japanese girl. So yeah, everything was open, and I knew that it was going to be open until the end. And then I finally got a few nicer waves, and yeah.
And is it easy to move in there with your 4-3? I mean, it's very cold.
Yeah, I'll say the worst part is the outside part that is really cold right now here. And the water is actually really nice. And I'll say for Ericeira, it's actually like perfect. So yeah, I'm feeling really loose in the wetsuit as well. It's an older one, so I feel comfy and I feel comfortable out there.
Well, there you go. Congratulations. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna, and thanks, Teresa. So currently sitting 7th, 8th on the rankings, so she needs a big result here at home, Teresa. We wouldn't put it past that, and well, it's ticked one box, first in many heats to get through, but had to fight for it, and she's done that well. So she was saying potentially a bit of a slowdown. It was bigger yesterday, Chris. There was bigger waves, and we are seeing the swell just slowly tapering off throughout the day, so surfers will have to adjust over the course, even from heat to heat almost, right?
My takeaway from that interview is the quality of the Portuguese dental system. That was some impeccable porcelain on offer there from
pegs.
Teresa and Joanna. Immaculate stuff. All right, Safi Vet is sitting in second priority. That's her in the white jersey. And Safi, Sarah and Mia will have surfed against each other a lot because the Australasian and the Asian regions co-sanction a lot of events on the QS. So events like the Nias Pro, the Kui Pro, the Taiwan Open of Surfing, even some of the events in the Philippines, these all get co-sanctioned these days, and so the Aussies, the Kiwis and the Japanese, the Taiwanese can earn points in their own region, but they're competing against another region at the same time.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time when they travel together and competing against each other. The Kiwis tend to stick together to a degree. Huts and Vet, but I'll tell you what, they just had a bit of a slow start, especially for Safi. I mean, you couldn't have probably travelled any further distance to get here. I can't imagine there's a longer wave coming from New Zealand to Portugal. So literally on the other side of the earth. So she's travelled all this way, spent a lot of money, a lot of time. We've got her a few days earlier now. She's got 20 minutes to try and turn it around. Just get a score on the board. She's got second priority. Just the nerves around these young girls starting out in their careers effectively, all the learning curve. But you've got to make it count.
Yeah, just watching from the beach with human eyeballs earlier, it's amazing how the wave is super long and down the bottom can really sort of bowl out a little bit more, have great shape. We saw Mia Huppets before. The second half of her wave was where she put some points on the board.
Yeah.
So it is a big playing field and there's plenty of opportunity from start to finish. Here goes Sarah
Wakita. So she's found one of those waves, a few little S-turns, trying to get into that juice. You're talking about that end section that does offer a bit of pace. There's a little click off the foam. She's got a good style. She's light in her feet. She's still looking for a little end section. She's coming down towards the rocks so you can't see her. Try and get a finish, and she does. So couldn't have done much more on that wave. Japanese surfers, they like it. And I just saw Naka get through the one before, so they're 1 from 1, trying to go for 2 from 2. But she surfed this well, Chris.
Sure did. This, I would imagine, would be the best wave of this heat so far. She did some tidy work up the top, and then as we predicted, the big end section finish will be where she garners up her nice points. That was a nice tidy turn as well. And she eyed off her target, put the foot down, and got the big finish. And, got some great support from her crew on the beach. I saw Hinata Ozawa there. He's another burly lad. So he is a burly lad, but he is coaching the Japanese surfers, a few of them at this event. And by the looks of things, that includes Sarah Wakita. Hinat's does a lot of time with Liam O'Brien, Toby Mossett, those guys are from Burley. Ran into him in the car park at Koshos the other day, sneaking out for a little wave.
Yeah, he's imparting his knowledge. Yeah, that Burley crew, so many great surfers coming out from that little point break.
Oh, just ask them.
Oh yeah, they'll tell you. But yeah, it's great to see that style. Wakita, as you said, that great sort of lineage as well. You know, some of the great pipe sort of charges of all time. Their father especially. So
4.5 the result for that last wave. So it was indeed the best wave of the heat so far. And Sarah Wakita and Mia Huppert's 1-2 at the moment. And just a handful of minor scores for Laura Whoop and Safi Vet, 16 and a half minutes to run.
You'll see more lines approaching. So still a bit of period hanging around. It's like a good sort of 12-second period at the moment. It's pretty sort of standard for Portugal. There's lines approaching. Nice fresh north wind at the moment. Maybe it's just got a hint of east in it, so just making that offshore. It does, even the north winds, which can be a little bit sideshore, sort of funnel out of that valley up that river. There's a river mouth sort of funnels in through here. So it's really clean conditions, which we expect to stay for most of the day. If the waves
Ribera means river.
It does. It's a river that sort of snakes into this little canyon. And yeah, we've got some clean conditions as they hit the reef here. Limestone, basalt, just a little bit jockeying for position. You can get caught out of the position. That's the problem with this wave. There's so much scope, isn't there, Binsy? You know, you just got to, if you can get too far out, you can get caught behind, you miss the inside. Sometimes when you're paddling back out, you can get a good one. So,
it's one of those places where if you're having free surf, you probably get your best waves as you're paddling back out. You get to the top shop, drop anchor, sit there, shiver a little bit, get cold, start overthinking priority. Stay busy on the inside. We had that chat with Dylan Moffat in the car park yesterday. He was talking about how excited he was to throw up some punts down on the end section.
Yeah.
That's what these clean conditions offer you early morning.
Yeah, it's really easy to get dragged a bit up the point sometimes. When those sets come through, they can break a bit wide. It's and it changes quickly with the tide. So yeah, a lot of readjustment. Obviously, these, you talk about those coaches. They're the ones that are talking about that. They would set their plans. They would have done their free surfing throughout the week. They get their markers in, and they just trust that the waves will come. But it's a constant process. You try and see those little gurgles, just little boils. Sometimes the wave offers those up as markers out on the reef.
And look at Sarah Wakita now. She's in no hurry whatsoever to make her way up to the top. And why would she? She doesn't have any form of priority, but she can catch waves down the bottom without a care in the world. And it's pretty clever tactics from Sarah, I think, just to hang off, catch one of those little sliders that gets underneath the pack at the top. And as we saw, plenty of points on offer down towards the end section.
Yeah, exactly. It is smart, and that's the beauty of getting a half decent score under your belt. It just gives you a little bit more room to manoeuvre. See Safi Vet, the Kiwi, so she is the one that's got priority. She's seen a few lines approaching now. The sort of butterflies in the stomach will be coming. She knows 13 minutes on the clock. She hasn't got a really good score. She's got priority. And this is where the positioning will be absolutely paramount. These sets don't come through all that often. And she could be in a position where she's a little bit too deep for that, which we were just talking about. Can the other girls pounce? Looks like next is in green, so that misses the thing. And Looks like Sarah, say Laura up, the Brazilian. She comes in third priority, but she gets this wave. She's waiting for it to stand up. Gets one quick off the top. We'll see if it's going to get a reform section down the end. She's sticking with it, hoping that there will be another little sort of lined up section again. She's working for it, and she's made it, and then gets one more in. Nice little carving swoop. Waits for the third one and finishes it off. So really patient surfing from Ralph. Yeah, loving it. It's good surfing. Had to wait, had to be patient there, Binzi, didn't she? But she sort of every section that came away, I thought she dealt with it pretty well.
Yeah, there was a big kind of rib through the face of this wave. Of course, broke a little bit too wide for Safi Vet. Laura pounced slightly inside her. Could have been done there, but we saw it just start to double up. And Laura was obviously eyeing it off down the line. She had to work really hard and time her run from start to finish. And then it just got bigger and better as it went down. It was a nice carve, and then gets critical on the end section. And yeah, that'll be somewhere between Mia and Sarah's wave, I would imagine. Yeah,
that last end section had a bit of fin drift there. That angle there probably added the critical nature of it. He goes putts out the back. So Mia, first turn. Ooh, gets a little bit uncaught, her feet moving around on the wax, and that means that wave, whether she could have done much in that wave anyway is debatable, but just sort of lost the footing a bit. You can see her sort of kicking her feet, trying to warm them up potentially.
Warm up the pinkies. You know, sometimes those bigger waves aren't necessarily the best ones. They sort of, you know, they look good to the eye, but not a lot on offer. Things were going all right, then halfway through that turn, the wobbly boot struck, and then the wave just turned into that burgery load of nothing anyway. So yeah, all that's done is kind of cough up priority for Mia. Still waiting on that score to come in for Laura Ralp.
Yeah,
now we see Sarah Wakita has moved to the top of the lineup. Now that she's got priority.
Yeah, she's playing the long game. She waited turn, didn't get any waves at that set. But she's out there right now, Sarah Wakita. She's out in front. But we're going to go to a short commercial break and come back with more live action from the EDP Ericeira Pro right after this. Action, she is ripping another wave. She's the current heat leader. She's got a solid 5.67 for the last one. Here she goes in trying to consolidate. Nice swooping turn. She's putting on rail, and she's going to aim for another big finish. There's another turn and one more, and just clicks it. So complete. So having got that last wave and getting a solid score, she's backed up immediately, which is what you want to do. So impressive, competitive surfing from the Brazilian Binzi.
Yeah, she's done more than consolidate. She has grabbed this heat by the scruff of the neck And we're still waiting for scores and replays to come in for Sarah Wakita and Mia Huppets. Yeah, Laura Rupp, a 5.67 for her previous wave. The judges must have loved that big closeout clout. It was done right in front of their booth, which is sort of down in that southern corner of the beach. Here's the replay of Sarah Wakita's last wave. We're waiting for the score to come in. So an open face carve. She's just biding her time, doing some rail work to get through to the inside, hoping that the wave will stand up and allow her to unleash. So a string of carves. And now as this one starts to stand up, will she get a little bit more vertical? That was a big sheet of spray out of the top turn. And the dismount as well. So a lot of repetition from start to finish there. And this was Mia Huppets. Bit of a two-stager. Clicks the rebound. What was this one? Offer her through to the inside. Sticking with it. Frantically now gets the wave to run. Again, it's another carve. That was a nicer wrenched turn. Gets vert through to the inside. Can we get the big finish? Goes vertical. A little bit of fin drift and then quickly out of there as it gets very shallow very quickly. 7 minutes to run. Bunch of scores still to come. Safi Vet sitting out the back by herself with priority. Not much in Safi's column so far.
Yeah, it was a real flurry of activity, wasn't it? And it's all really contrasting styles. I sort of felt like Mia's wave, she kind of showed that she hasn't probably surfed this wave quite a lot. It's the pace of this wave is difficult. It takes a sort of long time to adjust your surfing to the nature of it. And I thought she was just had to force it quite a lot to get the scores in. She got there in the end and she clicked some big turns. But I just felt like Wakita's wave had a bit more flow, adjusted to the varying paces of the wave. It's sort of a wave that slows down and speeds up, and you've got to match that with your surfing, right?
Yeah, you sure do. So the scores still waiting to filter in. So the judges watching some replays. So got a lot of stuff to dissect. Well, not sure if priority's been kind to Safi Vet so far in this heat, because we're 24 minutes through. There's the last score for Sarah Wakita, a 5.67. Ties Laura Rupp for the best wave of the heat so far. Feels like it was quantity over quality for Sarah there. She's just 7 or 8. Sort of carves from start to finish, but fluent, rhythmical, plenty of flow.
Quite a contrast, wasn't it, between her and Lara's. Sort of, she's a bit more punchy, throwing a bit more heavier turns, less turns, but more heavier weighted, more sort of back foot turns. Wakita, just a bit more flow, kind of smoother through transitions, and basically getting the exact same scores. They're varying approaches. Got a pretty considerable sort of hole in this heat. We're waiting on that last wave of Mia Huppets to come in. She also chasing the score as well, so a few numbers to drop. As you said, Wakita's been patient, she's waiting. And now, well, with priority, she's running out of time. She's only had very low scoring heat, needs a massive number, so she's going to have to use this priority pretty quickly and get back out there and try again. So she's going to make any type of mark on this. See, spindle there. So yeah, seeing these heats keep stacking up. Wakita, and scores coming. Waiting for Mia Huppets. That last wave, she needed a 5.97 to move up into all important second place. Here goes Wakita. She's used a priority. She's going in. Sorry, this is Vet. The Kiwi has waited a long time for that, and she's going to be disappointed because she's used a priority yet again. It hasn't worked for that priority. As you said, it hasn't agreed with it over the course of the heat.
Yeah, I don't think priority's your friend in these conditions. We've seen Sarah Wakita just really go to work in the bottom half of the wave. So 4 minutes to run. Safi Vet has a pair of ones and needs a significant score to get herself back up into the mix. Priority is now with Sarah Wakita. We can see her still sitting on the inside, and why not? She's going to utilise it on this one. Beautifully done.
She's right there. She's in a good spot. And she's eyeing up another section. Plenty of green walls in front of us. Got a steeper section here. And there she goes. That's a nice slash right in the pocket. And then another one. So that's 2 good turns from Lakita. Her wave selection's been incredible this heat, the best by far. She's not done yet. Just gets stuck and sees her opponent. Maybe that was a bit of, yeah, she sort of saw her opponent putting her out, but the Japanese think that she's done all the work out the back. She thinks she's done everything she needs to do, and she surfed the best wave of the heat, I reckon, so far.
I mean, it was, if she'd finished it, that was easily the best wave of the heat, and it still could be. Those first couple of turns, beautifully done. I love the fact that even with priority, she was sitting a little bit further down the line, was able to call her opponent off. It's all just setup work up the top. All of the points are an offer in the second half of this wave. That was a beautiful turn, maybe the best we've seen in this heat. And just fluently rail to rail down the line, and a beautifully compiled wave right up until she hit that little bobble. Would have seen Safi Vet out of the corner of her eye. This is the wave that Safi caught to put her in Sarah Wakita's eyesight. And how did this one shape up? Again, can't really find a section. Cracks the ender, and unfortunately for Safi, it has not been her day in the second heat.
Challenge series is brutal, and she's come all this way. She's travelled roughly 15,000 kilometres, and she's got a couple of twos, and she's out at the first event within the second heat of the day. That's what happens every heat. 2 surfers will be unhappy, 2 surfers happy, and it looks like Vet is going to be one of those, but it's been those two. Wakita and Rap have sort of taken charge of this heat, Bins, and never really looked like losing.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I think Sarah Okita's running away with it, and it's a bit of a 2-horse race between Laura Rupp and Mia Huppets for that remaining qualifying position to get through to the next round. Here's Sarah Okita. She's looked fluent from start to finish. Laura Rupp got a big score for the this wave that, well, it had all sorts of different sections to it. Different turns required to squeeze into all manner of places, and had a big rib running through it, and then all the points were for that dramatic end section. This was Sarah Okita once again doing all of her work away from the top of the peak. And why not, as the wave hits the bottom and starts to run. It's steepens up and allows the surfers to open the shoulders and bank some points. Last score in was a 6.5 for Sarah Wakita, so even with the fall, the best wave of the heat. Mia Huppets is sitting in third. She's tasting a 5.93. And this is Laura Rupp, who did have priority. She's looking to upgrade a 4.13. She's not going to do that, so she's now given Mia Huppets priority, but there's only 15 seconds to go, so catching that wave may be more of a blocking move than anything. Can Mia get into this? She's chasing a 5.93. It's looking like time is going to run out for her.
Yeah, it looks like Mia and Safi, the Australasian combination, aren't going to live to fight another day. Wakita's been impressive. She's been smooth. Wave selection was incredible. Utilised priority very, very well, and looked in control. The Brazilian also impressive, moving up in the seconds. Big turns on the finish, on the end section to finish. So there's the official results. Wakita through, as is Laura Rupp. Huppets and Vet have to learn how to enjoy Portugal without the competition, but you can see she's pretty happy right now. 2 Japanese surfers through in the first 2 heats, so it's been an incredible start for that country. We are going to go to a short commercial break. My name's Ben Mundy. I'm going to get out of the booth, let Paul Evans come back in and talk you through this, the 3rd heat of the day, right after this short commercial break.
The EDP Ericeira Pro presented by Estrella Galicia is brought to you by EDP, official energy partner of the WSL in Portugal. By Millennium Bank, official bank of the WSL in Portugal. By Hertz, official rental car of the WSL in Portugal. By You and the Sea, your hotel in Ericeira by the sea. And by Mayo, official technology partner of the WSL in Portugal.
Welcome back to Ericeira. It's the EDP Ericeira Pro Challenger Series Stop 5 of 6 on tour back in Portugal. Women's round of 48 fires up. The third heat of that round features a pair of Japanese surfers, Naoya Suzuki and Matsuoka, also in the water from the USA, Talia Swindle, Noah Clapp from Deutschland, rounding out the quartet. And energy in the water on a brisk and chilly early morning here. It's all about finding the best waves. Hoping to do that will be two surfers that will advance and keep their campaign alive. Here on the Challenger Series, first day of competition, Ben, so far so good. We've seen surfers really use their wave selection. It feels like it's all about the waves you catch as much as the actual surfing you do on them.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of an old cliche, but that is the case. Swindle fighting hard to get this one. A lot of time.
Yeah, she's up here. Got a look around and then locks in. This one's a softer wave. That's why she had to paddle for so long to get it. Ultimately, it just backs off the reef a little bit. Now, I've got really good news, Benny. Ready for the really good news? Positive news.
Yeah, hit me.
I just talked to Miguel Fortes.
Oh, well, that's good news in itself.
That's fantastic, but we're talking surf forecast. We're talking about the week, and he's very optimistic about how fun it's going to get. He says today it's north, right? So not a good direction for here. That's why it's a little soft. But even from this afternoon into this evening, the swell is bending west, and he reckons it's going to pump off the top hard. Matsuoka hooking in the pocket. Gets a little caught on that turn, then gets a little double up here. What's she going to do? And she'll jam one back, keeping that board alive. A lot of power in her surfing, a lot of aggression. I like the finish.
Yeah, strong surfing from Matsuoka. As you said, that wave standing up. Yeah, those west swells, they march in a bit more front on, don't they?
Yes,
so they don't
please.
taper down. That end section doesn't run off so fast. It actually builds, almost grows on the reef, which is what you want. And, well, if Fortes is saying that, I mean, he's not, he's not one for overblown statements, is he? He's not one for sort of, what? Says what he does what he says.
I haven't seen him for a few months. I didn't want to go straight in, so I just sort of stood near him for a while and sort of basked in his glow.
Yeah.
He didn't know I was there. I was just a little bit behind him.
Did you just smell him?
I just sort of stood there for a bit and vibed. It was cool.
Yeah, yeah. The aura. Yeah, this is really, really strong from the Japanese. They have a great start to the event so far. We've had two surfers progress, and we've got another two in this heat. So a strong finish from there, from and on. And love a bit of goofy action.
Yeah, okay, so that was the great news, Ben. But, you know, after every high, inevitably comes a low. After a peak comes a valley.
Speak to Rob Gunning.
As a matter of fact, I did actually talk to Rob, but that was also the high.
Yeah.
Bit of wind maybe later.
Yes.
Fortes is saying, so maybe a bit of north wind.
Yeah. They can handle that, can't it?
Ericeira's got a load of spots to handle the north, and don't worry about that.
Good news.
Yeah, so this is the view.
It is gorgeous this morning, though, isn't it? We're talking about the cold, but it brings that freshness, doesn't it? That clean air. We know it's going to heat up. It does. So, yeah, it's looking absolutely beautiful.
Let's go and have a chat with Sarah Wakita, winner of the last heat, is standing by with Joanna Garnell.
Right, congratulations on making it through your heat. How did that feel? Are you happy with your performance?
Yeah, for sure. It was a nerve-wracking first round, and it's always hard to get through the first round for sure because there's so many good girls around. And yeah, but I'm stoked to catch a couple good ones and yeah, and get the nerves out of the way.
You got some pretty solid scores. Can you mention anything that you struggled the most in your heat?
Yeah, it was really hard to see from the sunlight this morning, so I couldn't really tell which ones to go. But at the half end of the heat, I was like, oh, maybe this is a good one, and I just tried my best and tried to catch the right ones, and yeah, I'm happy it worked out.
Well, your wave selection was on point. How are your expectations for the rest of the event?
Yeah, I really love this wave. the right hand points, and I really like doing carves on these waves. So I'm just having my good time, and I'm here with a couple of Japanese girls too. So yeah, we're having a good time and just try to have my best out here.
Do you want to say a few words for back home?
時差のある中、応援ありがとうございます。とりあえず1ラウンド目をいいスコアでスルーできて、すごく緊張も解けて次につなげたかなって思ってます。次も楽しみながら頑張っていきたいなと思います。
That's it. Congratulations. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Joanna Sarawakita. Absolutely ripped her heat. Full of positive vibes. She loves the wave, Ben.
She does. She says so well. You're talking about that wave selection. She managed to get the 3 best waves of the heat. Used priority, just got in the flow of things, and got those bigger ones that hugged the reef a bit more. And yeah, sets it really well. So yeah, loving the vibes from Wakita. Just yeah, really positive, all smiles, and some great surfing. And here's Suzuki, also driving down the line. Nice aggression there, and that sort of body talk, you can tell she's means business. Looking at that little, get over this rib here, she's done that. And looking for a little end section to finish off. Nice green face. Slash off the top. Another one, a lot of upper body movement, and just doesn't finish off in those dry rocks, understandably. It came thick and fast while we were having that interview. And also Swindle getting up and down. Strong forehand gouges. Not quite as steep a wave as the last one, but she's still in the hunt. Wide stance, but she generates so much speed, and that's a good finish too from Swindle. So a little contrast in styles.
Yeah, well, she looks like a much taller surfer. Ben, you're a moderately tall man. What are some of the challenges being a taller surfer on a wave like this?
What you're lacking is a low centre of gravity, Paul. And we all know that the low centre of gravity in surfing is probably the most important thing.
It gets talked
forget your
about
surfboards, forget your technique, forget your temperament, forget your comp strategy, forget your talent. If you've got a low centre of gravity, you're kind of sweet. You're pretty much there. So that is something you have to overcome. A high centre of gravity, no, it's not even been talked about. It hasn't even been tested. So yeah, she's got that. There has been some, there is some big, tall, rangy surfers doing quite well. Geordie Smith, her compatriot, he's got to be 6'2", 6'3". He's a big lump of a lad, and he's done all right. Wes Lane, but so yeah, it's not all. It offers a point of difference, but yeah, you need the last centre of gravity. Is what you really need to be successful.
20.5 minutes to go in this third heat, round of 48 for the women. We're underway on the first day here on the Challenger Series in Ericeira, Portugal. Suzuki motoring. Wow, great snap off the top. Just gets caught a little high, and it is ever one of the challenges of this wave is how much do you commit to those turns on the face, Ben? Because if you commit too much, things can go wrong pretty quick.
Yeah, it's never cut and dried. Even when you're going up into those turns, there's not a definite lip there, so you've got to just get the exact right amount of torque, push it, not push it too far. And in that case, you could see the intent, which is what you want, but as soon as those fins engaged, she lost the speed, and yeah, you need speed to get through the next section. So it's a fine line, and it only comes really with just time at this wave. That's the best way to make those decisions more easier. Reading the pace of this wave is all important. They slow up and they speed up. So you time it at this wave lets you work out when to do it.
Here goes Swindle, the American, trucking down the line. Little double up section here, bang, cracks it hard, very nice. And then good timing and patience just to stay in the pocket. You can see there's not a lot of face on the wave in front of her, so she had to keep it really tight and hit a steep section. The squad enjoy it. We like it too.
Do you reckon their posse name is the Great Rock and Roll? Do you reckon their posse is the Great Rock and Roll? That's what it's called.
Might be.
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, that's what I'd be calling myself if I was a Swindle. It took a while to get there, Paul.
Wow, it's a bit early in the morning for that kind of stuff, but not too early for Tilda to do this.
I like it. We talked about aggression in the pocket. She had that, and she's really solid on her feet. She's looking confident. I think if she gets any type of you know, open face, she's going to do some damage. And I haven't seen a lot of her surfing, but the brains trust are stoked and they know their
Am I
stuff.
going to just explain that joke for the audience? So that we're talking about the
No,
pistols
mate.
there,
Unlike-
right? The great rock and roll swindle.
Unlike you, Paul, the audience would have got it the first time round and would have, yeah, surf fans are smart. They know it, yeah. I think they've got it. Because if they're over 50, which is the bulk of the audience checking in at this stage of the game.
18 minutes on the clock here. It is the American Talia Swindle with the lead in this at the mo. We're all caught up with scores. There's a 5-point ride for Suzuki, the best of the action. We're waiting for Noah Clapp to get going here. She hasn't seen anything to tickle her fancy, so at the moment she's got priority. Let's see if she'll use it. Plenty of time. We saw Bombolo in the first heat of the morning have a very sluggish start and turned to that round and got the W, got the win. So let's see what Noah Clapp can do here, representing Germany. Out in the lineup here with Swell, but slightly on the wane. But we reckon, we're hoping to get through this round of 48 and offer good opportunity for surfers. Here's the great style of Suzuki with a sort of soft entry and then a spring and a step. Hits her stride, hits the lip, and does it really well. A very polished performer. Swindle with great intent. And she's up again here, and very nice pace. Measured surfing to open up, releases the tail, but puts it down.
Yeah, she kind of knew that even with that one turn, it probably wasn't going to be a keeper, sort of just lost commitment halfway through it when she realised she wasn't going to get a score for that one-turn wave. The one-turn wave from the Suzuki as well, so I'll go back out there and regroup. 16 minutes on the clock, plenty of time. Just only had one wave. I count this as a mistake. Maybe she went massive there. She could have, she got the fins out, and because the fins sort of released, she lost control.
How close to the rocks was she, Ben?
But you're always so much closer than you think. This angle here doesn't quite show the inherent danger in some of these turns. That's a nice finish as well, but just the one. You can see the gurgles on those rocks. They're solid down there in that end section. But you've got to commit. You have to commit to that end section. That's where the points are.
All right, Clapp will go here. Here she goes on the backhand. Here's Noah. First turn. Snap back with some nice crispness to it. And then this section will get a little awkward. She gets back on the face and it gets sticky. Yeah.
Yeah, she's had a good run on the European qualifying series, actually, over the last few events. You know, won plenty of heats, made a final, I think. So she's coming into the event with a bit of form. Unfortunately for Noah, just in this heat, a really slow start. And maybe that helped, hindered this first wave. There's a little more pressure on it than there would have otherwise been. She never quite got in the mix. This was a nice open section. Just a little bit caught short, and you can see the frustration. I know she just couldn't get that next section. Disappointment. A little side eye there at the end, wasn't there? He's like trying not to hide the frustration, but you could sense that he wasn't happy with that.
Not a poker player. Not a poker player.
A little side eye gave everything away. If there was a look that said exactly what was going on, it was that. Trying to maintain a bit of positivity. Couldn't really keep it up.
14 and a half on the clock here. Heat 3 of the round of 48 for the women. We've been called on first day of the waiting period. It's a Sunday morning in Ericeira, Portugal, a beautiful part of the world any time of the year. This time of the year, autumn, is when the Atlantic really starts to fire up and pump. We've got all sorts of activity. We do have some storm activity right on the other side of the basin as well, which those storms can go extra tropical, provide us with west swells, and when that happens, Ben, it hits this reef more or less straight on and bends in beautifully, lines up, and offers big multiple sections along this wave. Going to take a bit of endurance as well. It is a long wave, it's cold water, there's big tides. There's a lot to happen to put a successful campaign together at this event.
Yeah, there really is. It's sort of, which I like. It's sort of all elements of surfing, you know. It's not, there's fitness, there's commitment, there's, you know, it can handle real size. So sometimes we might not get massive this week, but we have seen previous things where it's, you know, 8-10 foot. So that's another, almost the bravery element, just, you know, pure courage. So yeah, with all its moods and with all its sort of length of reef and with all the different conditions, it provides a sort of a different test than many waves especially on the Challenger Series, because the other ones are pretty straightforward beach breaks, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
snapper.
quite a unique venue. A lot of people compare it to Bells. How do you feel about that comparison, Ben? I'm sensing that you're not buying in.
I think it's a lazy comparison.
It's lazy journalism.
That's what I would say, Paul. I mean, look, it looks similar. I'll give you that. It's a similarity in terms of the sort of the cliffs and that sort of that face. It is a right-hand point. It's a little bit sluggish, but yeah, Bells has got that sort of really definite sort of set. It breaks kind of identical every single wave, and it doesn't sort of break until it's 4 or 6 foot. Where this has got many more moods. It changes a lot more. It's not as good, let's be honest.
Well, I was going to ask you if you could only surf one for the rest of your life. You going Bells, you going Ribeira?
Oh yeah, I'd go Bells. Although you'd be surfing less. You'd be surfing less, especially in summer. You wouldn't be doing a whole lot of surfing.
12.5 minutes to go in this. Suzuki leading things from Swindle right now. Another Suzuki, Amora. We saw glimpses of her there. A great surfer herself. She's coming up in the next heat. More live action from beautiful Ericeira, Portugal, right after this. Ericeira Pro back into live action. Anon Matsuoka here. Bit of size on this one, bit of whip out of the tail as well. And again, setting up for a little drift of the tail and the fins to finish, putting a little extra into the final turn under the 10-minute mark in this heat. And with nothing really on the board for Anon, she wants to get something going here, and a good way of doing that's finding a good wave and surfing it with aggression. Ben, I feel that's what we saw.
I like that. I like the intent in the aggression. You got it bang on, Paul. She kind of waited a little bit here. I thought she pushed one of them, but when she really found that juicy section, she went for it. The last turn had the fins out, so that one's sort of warmed up, and then a bit of a fin click. So she just added a point of difference, a little bit of verticality. That can be done on your backhand. That is one of the advantages of being a goofy out here. You can just drive up a bit sort of more vertically, more, different lines. And only needing a 3.18, I think I'd be pretty confident she's going to get that and move up into second place.
9 to go here. These minutes will run away for surfers chasing down numbers. Our heat leader, Nanoa Suzuki at the moment. A couple of decent ones, a 5 and a 4.03. And she's just shown, not really opened up on any of them, but she's shown she's got a really, really nice technique, and it seems to match this wave really well. She's able to kind of maintain that body position where all options are available to her at all times, and that seems like a good fit for this wave, certainly. This one will be a little straight. And this swell, as we've been mentioning at the moment, it's starting north, so that's to the right of your shot, coming almost down the coast quite obliquely. And it's good for some spots in this part of the world, but this one can tend to just be this kind of outside takeoff peak. Now, the swell's going to get more west. It's going to come more straight on bend, which is great news.
You're loving this west
I'm really
swell.
excited.
I've never seen you so excited about a west swell
A lot of people
in a long time.
A lot of people talk about size. I'm getting really into direction these days.
I like it. I like it. What, 270? What's your favourite sort of west angle, would you say? 275, 280?
I mean, I'll always go slightly north of west bend. You know me.
Yeah.
So let's go 278.
278?
278,
yeah,
279.
Sweet spot.
It's just,
I can tell. When that just veers around, I mean, look, you're not bad in the 280s. You get by, you're happy enough. But once she swings that late 27s, I can really see you come alive.
Yeah, you don't get enough of it, in my opinion.
No, especially at this wave. No, it's good news. It's got, we just got waves all week. It's just nice to, let's not even talk. The forecast's done. Fortes has called it, but we've got waves on tap, which means we can pick the eyes out of it.
Yep. Clap. Here she goes. The paddle momentum takes her down the face and then jams off the bottom. A little highlight, adjusts her feet, back foot goes back on the tail pad. Great turn. And another slash in the pocket. Wow, good hit from her to finish right on the rocks here. And a great way from the German Noah Clapp.
Tell you what, she's got herself right back in this heat, and that was really impressive. Hasn't had any waves, made some mistakes. Priority didn't work out for her. But on that wave, she's probably the first surfer to really throw serious amounts of spray. As you see her, just looked like she had her feet in good position. I like that first turn, a bit of spray. Just winding it up there, and this bit here was critical. Bang in the pocket. So finishing it off, we'll just see where she gets, but she's definitely at least got herself in contention, back in the conversation, Paul, which is where you want to be with 6.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, it looks like a really sort of natural surfer, I feel. I just like the way she puts her waves together. It's not formulaic. That's a great turn from whichever way you look at it. I'll just admire this. But I like these what seem to be late decisions to go into your turns with your manoeuvre selection, and that makes it look spontaneous, and spontaneity in surfing is a very good thing.
Yeah, you can.
And the swell's going west, so that's cool.
And like the thing about the way she surfed is that she knows the swell's going west. Yeah, and I think that sort of angle looking down doesn't quite show, the amount of sort of the critical nature of the turns. And you're right, that's spontaneity. When you're not sure what's coming, that's what makes it exciting. They don't know what's coming next, do they? You've got no idea what's coming next. There's going to be some big crowds here today, Paul. I can feel that.
Beautiful Sunday morning in Portugal. Here's the American Swindle in a spot of bother here. 5.5 on the clock. And goes into the whitewater. It was a bit of a crumbly section. And this one will be a tight heat right now. Scores bunched together. A number will come in for Swindle. Let's see if she improves. She needs a 4.8 to move up.
Yeah, she's not going to get on this wave. This wave again, just too short. Doesn't have that running off down the line you need to progress. So that wave was going to be ticked off. But we did see the big scores coming in for Clapp there, Paul. 6.00. So as I said, a very big score, and she doesn't need much now.
A lot of surfers travelled from all parts of the world, obviously, to be here. You stopped 5 and 6 of the Challenger Series. When you were making your preparations to come to Portugal, Ben, what is it that you were looking forward to the most about this? What are you thinking? This is my checklist. This is what I'm going to do. First 3 things I'm going to do in Portugal to immerse myself. What was really calling out to you?
Well, in terms of packing, sun cream first off.
Yeah, it's the weather looks great this week.
So I checked the forecast. Sun. West swell, sun. So I whacked in the Medina model Cabianca for the west swell. Loves the west swell. And the third thing, of course, is a nice leg rope. Heat recap here. We saw the Japanese surfers off to another flying start. We've had a few get through early on in the day. And this is Suzuki setting up strong. Just nice little body talk there. And then had the runner things really early on. A couple of 5s and a 4s. Just puts on the gas there. And that's a nice finish from her. She's energetic. She's aggressive. She's up for it. Really different approach from her fellow compatriot, the goofy footer. She's a bit more waiting for these sort of stand-off waves to stand up a bit harder and faster. And this is another big finish there. She liked that. That got her up into the second spot. We then had away from Noah Clapp, which got her a 6-point ride. There's a few live action from Suzuki.
Yeah, your heat leader right now. Look at her absolutely trucking down the line. She just opens up with the bottom turn. And then a drifty flick off the top. Whoosh. Tries to blow out the tail and finish that with some extra spice. Won't go complete for the final turn. 4:03 will be the backup number. She'll be looking to improve on. See if the judges deem that one turn. I'm not sure. One successful one was performed, but she is the heat leader. Super classy, Ben, and still loads of opportunity.
Yeah, it's all about this end turn. You know, I really like the first probably turn of the whole morning that added a bit of flair and a bit of risk. She didn't come off, but the fact that she went for it, I quite liked. I think the surfers probably need a bit more of that to progress. So Clapp trying to back up that 6. She didn't need a big score. She needed 2.86. That might have been part of the thinking, but I'm not sure. I mean, you know, it's easy to say, isn't it, Paul? It's easy to say you shouldn't have gone that way, but it's never going to be a 2.86. But it's such a low score. 2 minutes to go.
Swindle snapping, and then patient off the bottom. That was nice. And again, good rhythm to this. Good section for her. Wow, so close to those rocks. Meanwhile, Masuoka whipping one and jamming a combo. 2 backhand turns. The judges love the combo. The squad doesn't like the incompletion.
Hands in hands. Yeah, they just waited for that last 2-turn combo. I really like Swindle surfing on that wave. She just had the groove going on. Meanwhile, live action, Paul.
Suzuki.
Non-stop.
Ooh, great turn. Very technical indeed. And the combo on a steep section.
Yeah, they're happy with that. More happy with that. But the nerves are still there.
Oh, it's harder to be watching, isn't it?
Probably harder surfing, I think. Is it?
I mean, from an emotional point of view, Ben.
Yeah, gotcha.
You're sitting there, you can't do anything, you just got to watch it all unfold. At least in the water, you can catch waves, you can move around.
Also really hard, isn't it? You're trying not to be, you're trying to work out the score and not be biased, and you're inherent in. But that's some great surfing, and that's why Suzuki was the current heat leader before that wave. Just so much zip and zap. Again, contrasting styles. That first turn was strong. There's another one. If she made that 3-turn combo, that's why those, mates on the beach were so distraught, because you'd done a lot of the hard work. It was not a lot of time to do it. This is the way I sort of like, just in terms of flow, different approach. Just to jam that thing, nice little zippy turns. They're just a bit short. She hasn't a lot of open face, but she got 4 in a row.
What about the white water on the face as well?
Yeah, that's not her fault though, is it?
You always feel like it sort of wipes a point off.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It just makes it harder to drive your fin through, doesn't it? So you can't be as clean and as crisp as you're surfing as you'd like. And all the scores still just filtering in. Still sets to come, 10 seconds on the clock. So I Clapp did enough in that way for all my things, but there's still scores to come in. So we're gonna have to wait and filter this through, I think, after the heat, Paul.
Yeah.
Plenty to chew on here.
Yeah, well, we've got scores to come in for everybody except Noah Clapp. So she's in the lead right now. She got the high score with that 6. And she improved with the 3-2. That took her to first. That was that one quick backhand wave she got. First place position as of the horn. However, the panel of judges, our esteemed panel right now, are furiously working out exactly where the numbers will go, because this will be crucial, because look how tight it is on the scoreboard. It's about 1.5 points between 2nd and 4th. Of course, only 2 can go through, and we could be shaking things up, so we'll be on hold for the next heat while the judges work this out. There's a view of the sort of geometry. You can see how even at quite a small size, this reef is just pretty even, really. It's a few holes in it, but more or less, we'll see that diagonal of white water, clear delineation of where exactly these waves are peeling. There is the panel in there, and they're working things out, Ben. Yeah, got some decisions to make. A lot of waves came in that last, 2 minutes? I would say probably almost a dozen waves got ridden. Suzuki's numbers 5-3-3, goes to first, Clapp in second, and possibly under threat from Matsuoka and from Swindle here. Yeah, so you said Matsuoka needing a 4.18. Okay, Tali's number in, not enough for the American Swindle. And we're still going to get number for Anon, are we, to drop in, but at the moment it is Suzuki and Clapp That's the view here. Beautiful morning sunshine, a sunny Sunday in Ericeira, Portugal. It's the EDP Ericeira Pro. Women's round of 48 in the water, and it's not disappointed us so far. We've been some intensely competitive heats. More live action from Portugal on the Challenger Series right after the break. Welcome back to Ericeira, Portugal. Official results of the last heat. Nanoa Suzuki getting the win alongside Noah Clapp, who ripped, actually, the German surf real well. Unfortunately, we'll lose Anon Matsuoka and Talia Swindle. And it's high stakes here under the high cliffs of Ericeira. And a chance to go to the CT. Well, we're not a million miles away from that. Stop 5 or 6 start the Challenger Series. The early rounds at the moment all up for grabs for the likes of Amora Suzuki, who has ripped through qualifying in the past. Of course, she got that spot when Carissa Moore decided to take a break. Then COVID happened, so Amora Suzuki was very close to doing the full swing at the tour. She's a brilliant surfer. Also in the water, Ariana Ochoa, a great goofy from the Basque Country, Louise Lepront from South Africa, and the veteran Australian Freya Prum. So a lot of experience in the water here, Ben, and a lot of surfers will realise that, you know what, get on a run here, get some heats together, you get a big result on the board, you head to Brazil, and you see where you are in terms of those 5 spots for qualification. It's going to be a tough road. There's a lot of surfers with big points on the board already. Yeah, it really is. I mean, you want to give yourself, at the very least, just a chance in Brazil, and, you know, just to have that little carrot at the end of it. But, yeah, you need to do that. For big points, you need quarterfinals or semi-finals, really. And, you know, it's so difficult, as you say, with every heat, stacked with great surfers. You know, you need to go through 4-person heats in sometimes sort of lovely conditions. So, yeah, it's a long road. It's starting right now. You can just, you know, you've got to do it heat by heat, but it's hard not to think about that big prize, that CT carrot. And Suzuki has tasted that carrot before, and she'll want to get there. She's a really, really fast surfer, really good style. I expect her to do well here. Yeah, she's got really good competitive nous as well. I've been impressed with some of the performances where she's been on the ropes and needed scores and been able to really fight back strong, fight back tough against highly rated adversaries. At the moment, it's keeping a cool head, it's staying calm, because they're having to be patient out there in the lineup. And while we're patiently waiting for this one to fire up, let's go and hear from winner of the last heat. It's Nanoa Suzuki.
That is right, and she's on a roll. That was a very dramatic ending at the heat. How are you dealing with the suspense?
Yeah, I love Ericeira's wave, so I just fun in the time, so that's all good.
And you won the last 2 QSs in Asia. Was that a good preparation for this event?
Yeah, it was a good experience for me, And then, yeah, good for focus this event. Yeah.
Do you want to say a few words back home?
Yeah. いつも応援ありがとうございます。とりあえずラウンド1勝ち上がることができたんで、ラウンド1の改善点を見つけて次につなげて頑張っていきたいと思います。応援よろしくお願いします。
Exactly. Congratulations. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Cheers, Garnell. What a ripper.
Classic.
Oh, love the energy. Love the surfing particularly. I expect her to go deep, deep into this event. Let's keep it going. That Japanese squad opening up very strong this morning, Ben.
Yeah, just lost one, their first surf in that last set, but still got one through. So, yeah, they're 3 out of 4 surfers from Japan getting through in the first, 3 heats of the event. So, yeah, strong start. That's what you want. And they'll be a force, especially in the women's. It's a really strong point in their surfing. I think I remember Suzuki when she hit it first on the scene, when she won a heat in Margaret River. It was about 10 foot, massive Margaret River, and she won a heat. She's the first Japanese woman to win a heat in 20 years or something like that. So she was really at the vanguard of this new push by all these great Japanese surfers. So, real, so much talent there. Just trying to strive to get that next step and be permanently on the CT, which is what they all want.
Suzuki, game face on. And just waiting patiently. This is something that surfers know all about. You come in, you fire it up, you do your prep, you get your tunes on, you get the rubber band out, and you sight, you hit the water, and then just wait for a bit.
Yeah.
And you wait a bit more, and then guess what? Wait a bit more, Ben.
Yeah. Well, that is the attraction of this sport, and sometimes the problem with it is that the ocean does dictate what goes on in terms of
the cruel beauty of surfing. We're all merely moths to the flame of it, aren't we? We just can't stay away.
Exactly. It drags us in, it keeps us there, and then when it turns on, when it does turn on, when the sets approach, it's all go. You just got to stay patient. She knows that better than anyone else. I think the whole point of competitive surfing is sort of marrying your competitive abilities with your patience and picking the right waves.
Are our anemometers picking up a little shift in the wind here, Ben? Is that a little ruffle on there on the face?
I thought your internal antenna had picked up a hint of a change in direction as well.
Not yet, mate.
Slight nudge. A little bit of a ruffle, less blowing stiff offshore out of that cannon. Probably slight heating up of the land, I would say. Slight warming of the ocean. And we've just got a subtle change. That wind's going to go north. It's going to blow north all week, we think. It looks like just a little bit of ruffle. This wave handles it really well, though. I think you're right. There's a little change in the texture. That's the surfers getting ready there. And yes, beach marshal to the stars behind. Everyone looks pretty relaxed there. Getting ready.
Zoe Benedetto going good on the challenges. 18th. She's got a tough heat, though. She'll be going up against Sol Aguirre. Also, the Gonzalez Echebarri sisters from the Basque Country. Nice binos, little compact pocket binos.
Yeah, and he's a bit of potentially bird watching.
Ooh, Ochoa, here we go. Bang. Quickly into the lip, which is the white watery lip section.
Zoe last year, actually, I think, got the semi-finals, if you remember, Paul. She had a great event here last year. Really, despite growing up in Florida, like these right-hand points, really suits a smooth style. So she got some good muscle memory from this wave and this town. She'll be looking to get up into the all-important top 10. Of course, if you don't make the top 5 in the women's, if you make the top 10 in the rankings, you still get straight on the Challenger Series for next year. Don't have to worry about the qualifying series. So even if you don't make the top 5, it's still important to get up in those rankings, Paul, as you well know.
Look at these sets marching in onto the refit at Ribeira Dilas. 22 on the clock. It's just a small number in thus far for Ochoa, who's going to spin and go. It looks like Freya Prumsel at the deep. Lepron, the South African, is in the spot here and chops one down. Keeps that board active. It's a little slopey on the face. You can see a grimace from her. She just wants this one to steepen up, which it's a little reluctant to do to open up. Now it'll get steep real quick as the rocks come at her fast and unable to get an inside section. So just not really cooperative, I'll say, that wave there for Louise.
No, it just never opened up, did it? She was looked to be in a good position. It was a set wave. She was in a good position on the reef. So yeah, it just sort of did everything right. And then unfortunately for LePront, the wave just never really delivered. At this stage here, she's probably thinking, okay, this is good. I've got a first turn in. There's a wall angling down the reef. But as soon as those 2 cutbacks came into play, she hadn't got any money turns done at all at the back. So she needed everything on this inside, and it's never arrived. So yeah, that was unfortunate, I think, for Louise. Not much more she could have done, really. Stuck with it, kept trying, kept hoping that it might be even just the closeout section. These rocks starting to get here. This angle gives us a bit more indication of where those rocks are, and you can see why she didn't do much more. Rack those boards, rack those fingers, and the Safa's Brain Trust watching on there. Sort of, no response whatsoever, I would say, were they?
They are good poker players, it looks like, because not giving much away at all.
Not at all from Scott Burke. It's a great right-hander that way down there on the Durban coast where LePront's from, so she knows the way around the right-hand point. Unfortunately, that one just didn't open up. And it's been a slow, sluggish start to this first 10 minutes of the heat, Paul. That west direction's quite kicked in yet, mate. I don't want to overdo it, not overstate anything. But at the moment, she's trying maybe 284, 285.
Yeah, it's a slow burner so far, this one. We've lost 10 minutes of the heat so far. It will be midway point in this opening round of 48 when we wrap this heat up. At the moment, men's opening rounds on standby as well. We haven't had a call for that, but we think conditions might get a little trickier throughout the afternoon. We're expecting this pulse to pick up, and we're positive about having a really fun week away. It's not going to be giant, but good quality surf available, and that's really why we're here. That's what we want. Opportunities for everybody. Meanwhile, sets stacking up on the outside. We have just a priority situation for 2 of our surfers. We're still waiting for Suzuki and Puram to get involved in that. But I reckon Suzuki will have a very good idea the sort of wave she wants to find, and until she sees that bend, she's going to be patient, and it does take a bit of nerve. It takes a bit of that mental game. Who's got it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it really does. You're just itching to pull the trigger, aren't you? You just want to get surf, and you want to get a score, and you want to get behind the, get weighed down by the other surfers getting waves, and yeah, but it just doesn't pay. She knows one wave can turn a heat. She only needs 2. She's got 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Prum.
Estrella opens up, hooks one in a pocket. And smooth rail work out the back for her, and then an awkward section. Again, adjusts the feet, does it nicely. This one will get a little steep here. And a quick turn right on the rocks. That board is... Wow, so the commitment that we talked about in there, and there's some sharp bits as well. And this is awkward and dicey, even for surfers of the caliber of our athletes here at the EDP Ericeira Pro. She looks like she's done that pretty well, but never a nice moment when you see people dry docked.
No, it's dangerous. It doesn't take much to slip over. There's potential for obviously injury, lacerations, board damage, and especially it wasn't even that much of a turn to go through the pain. I like the commitment. She sort of got stuck behind it, and that meant that as she was going down the line here, those rocks were getting closer and closer. She still went for it, to her credit. I mean, she could not have done any more, and right there you can see just how sharp and out of the water they are. This is the angle that's going to show it really, really well. She comes down, she's driving down, and then those rocks are coming in. Like right now, any normal person but you get out. But in competition, no such luck. You've got to put your body on the line. That's what Freya did. So hopefully she's come out without any too many scratches. Another wave at the back. So LePron, this wave looks a little bit steeper. That's a nice turn on the backhand. Drives around again. There's a bit more spray. We haven't seen a lot of spray from these servers. That's the first turn of note. And now she just finishes off. So got the better of that exchange for sure, and didn't end up trying to fight a dry piece of rock. There they go. A bit more, showing a little bit more animation.
Yeah, a little golf clap from the South African squad. Let's check out Mora Suzuki on replay here in full flow bend.
Yeah, so that was that way. Oh, she waited for, and she didn't get the long wall, but she got 2 sections in that second section especially. was a belt, and the judges love that.
What a difference. Powerful surfing, going top to bottom, amplitude, driving off the bottom of the wave and going into the lip and compressing and decompressing the body to great effect. And she looks like a caged tiger right now, doesn't she? Just prowling, waiting. You see the game face on, and she's ready to fire. And really nice to see, just on even on a quite short wave, the combination of turns, the rail work. Where's this going to go points-wise?
I think it's going to go up into that solid above 5 or 6 point range.
Solid 5.
Solid 5.7.
Great.
Yeah, in terms of the heat score,
I think she's going to go better than that. I think it's just going to go right up.
Well, I think the highest score was probably been a 6.5. I think of Noah.
It's going to be better than that.
So,
Colin.
Okay.
I'm excited about it.
All right, good to know. I think she got a bronze medal at the Tokyo Olympics. I'm pretty sure, Suzuki Muro. So she's really experienced now. Been around a while, and just show that one big turn, big section, put it all on the line.
Tell you what else she's got. A 7.33, highest score of the morning.
Yeah, there you go. Bang on, Paul. You were right. I was wrong. Not for the first time. Yeah, that's the reward reward for the patience, for starters, and also reward for actually, a bit of risk.
Feels like an extra gear, doesn't it? See a lot of surfers maybe like flick a turn and then wait and kind of like try and get and reach for the next section. Just felt like she was driving throughout the ride there, even though it was a shorter wave. And it's very impressive. And it is that power that she's got. Really good board position on the wave. Here's Freya Prum, the Aussie. She'll get going and hopefully get work done before she gets on to dry reef. A couple of hits in the pocket from her. It's smooth as ever, nice and light on her feet, and just tagging the finish a couple of times. Much better stuff from Freya, multiple maneuvers.
Yeah, showing no ill effects of that sort of rock hopping dance she did before. Yeah, really linked the turns. It was a smaller wave, which will count against her, but in terms of linking them together and flow, she looked really good. So yeah, Prum, and apart from that one big 7.33, everyone's in the mix, and a bit of a slow start, but here's where she starts to get a bit of a groove on. A bit of spray. It's a small wave, and she's sort of managing to just keep connecting. Bit of fin release. So yeah, good technique. Just the wave, just a little bit small for that scores to move up into that sort of really solid range, but I think she'll be confident that she's got a groove back and she's got some rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding rhythm, particularly through the inside section of the wave. And we talk about getting warm-ups and getting practice done. You come here from the other side of the world, you travel from Australia to be here in Portugal, and you come to town, and there's how many pro surfers here in town?
Well, there's 80, there's 80 surfers in the
local
men's,
rippers. There's all
40 in the women's.
How do you find warm-up ways out here?
They're really difficult, and they're all down here at like 5 o'clock in the morning. They're all got the same game plan up. They all want to surf the wave, test their equipment. Yeah, it's difficult. You might get half a dozen waves at best. Over the course of a few sessions. So not easy.
So far, so good for Amuro Suzuki. She's ripped the highest score of the morning. More live action from Ericeira, Portugal, right after the break. Offshore's died.
Oh.
Back to the Challenger Series. It's the EDP Ericeira Pro live from Ribeira, Portugal. Beautiful scenes as we fly above the iconic shores of Ericeira. A multitude of surf breaks available up and down this beautiful stretch of coast. The Sintra Mountains in the background. The capital Lisbon just behind them. And right now we're watching live action from the Australian Freya Prum. Looking to continue some rhythm, a bit of momentum. She sort of nudged things in the right direction. She's going to need a little more where that came from, though. 10 on the clock. She's in third place. It's a low-scoring heat this far, but a little starved of action. Not much going on. Here goes the Basque, Ariane Ochoa. The backhand attack from her. Patient off the bottom. Nice and vert there. And then doesn't get another section. And one of the great sort of facial expression surfers, you often see her sort of smile between her maneuvers, Ariane. The hallmark of her surfing. Sometimes it's a grimace, sometimes it's more of a grin. She got one good crack at the whip there, Ben, but what she really wanted was kind of like 3 of them in a row and really build up that momentum through the inside.
Yeah, she wasn't smiling by the end, was she? She just, it ran off too quick, and she looked sharp on that first turn. We'll see it here. A little cut back to set up this first turn. Got it up there, quite tight, and then it just ran off. So, yeah, a real low scoring potential. Prum similar. It's just poor wave selection, really, and that's why those two are currently in third and fourth. And they're fraying only a 3.18, so you can see why she needs to get pointed.
Can I put a counter argument across to that, Ben?
Is
that cool?
Oh, yeah.
There's not many ways coming through. You're not going to sit around and wait for 8s. You know, it might be the 3s and the 4s, and you grab something up, you get something going, you surf yourself into that rhythm.
Yeah, I don't think there's no time to find your rhythm, and there's no time for 3s. I think you got to aim for a 5-point ride. I think that's the sort of minimum you want to set yourself, and you need the right way to do that. And I think trying to eke out some 3s and 4s is probably not the approach. Even if it sneak you through this heat, it's not going to get you through many
Even
more.
if it works, it's wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying it's not sustainable, Paul. I know it's the approach you'd like to take, try and eke out a meagre living and just get over the line there by any means necessary. It's not the way I roll.
All right, 8 minutes on the clock here. Sunny scenes at Ribeira Dilas. Not loads of wave energy in this one, as this tide will flood in and fill up on the reef here. Still plenty of exposed rock forms on the inside. We've seen Freya Prum go dry docked on those rocks. We've seen heavy duty ripping from Anant Suzuki, who has dropped to 7.33 for powerful link together surfing. But other than that, she has not been interested at all. She's been very patient indeed. Seems to have a very good read of this wave and exactly what waves offer her the scoring potential. And a great competitor who, as we mentioned, just came so close to getting that qualification done for the championship tour. And that was a couple of years ago now. That was back in 2019. I think that was the season where she really went on a tear late in the season. Got a big result up in Pantin in Spain, and that was a big qualifying event and set herself up. And since then, she's struggled to really put the entire season together. How hard is that to do, Ben?
Yeah, it is, especially when you come out of the blocks and you have that success so early, and everything's coming not easily, but you're getting the results that your training and your work provide, and then all of a sudden you go through a bit of a blip, and it's difficult because it's a long season. These 6 events and the Challenger Series are spread out from start in April, finish in sort of November, so it's hard to get on a roll. If you do get momentum, there's often a bit of stop-start feel to it. So yeah, it's difficult to to keep it going through the whole time, and hopefully this might be the start of something special, hopefully.
Let's go down and get some local insights. Joanna Garnell is with the man who has the inside word on everything that's happening with the surf here in Ericeira, Portugal, Miguel Fortes.
That's right, our local contest director advisor. Sad news today because the sun's out but the waves are gone. What happened?
Yeah, so we have the increasing swell today and the big tides. We are dealing with big tides this week. So we're going to call it off. But the good news is tomorrow there's a new swell. And it's going to be good all day. So we're going to run tomorrow for sure.
Oh, well, we can't wait. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Joanna. So we're going to call this after this heat. I'll tell you what, have you ever seen a man more certain about anything that Fortes is that it's going to be good tomorrow? It's never in doubt.
Rock solid. He didn't mention the direction there, Paul. I was a bit disappointed. How'd you feel about that?
I'm cool. It's like a little thing that him and I just, that's kind of for us.
Yeah,
a bit more, Ben?
Yeah.
Just between us?
No, never. Yeah, as you say, he's called it. He knows it.
It's
just
happening.
that's it.
Lock it in.
Just forget everything else.
Fortes knew it before Huey did, the god of swell.
Yeah. Look, he's not so much of a forecaster, he's a conjurer. But yeah, the big tides is a point, and this when it gets small, this wave, it just disappears at high tide. We've seen it many a time. It needs probably be sort of 4 to 6 foot at least to break through the tide.
Yeah, you've been based in Europe for a number of years now. How is your relationship with tides? Have you sort of reconciled yourself to the fact that the tides come in and go out, or are you still dealing with it? You good?
I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons I stayed here for so long, Paul. Just the fact that the lunar belt, the bulge of the belt is higher over here. I love it. It makes life a bit tricky sometimes, but it's all part of the dynamic Atlantic Ocean, isn't it? I mean, having said that, sometimes those French rip bowls can really mess with your brain as you're waiting for low tide that never ever comes.
Freya Prum here. She goes, good looking wave, good section. Great turn, very nice. Releases the tail out. Meanwhile, Louise Leprant with priority in second place position, possibly under threat from Prum. Bang, snaps one. Doesn't do loads with the board, but does enough to get into the lip, make it look sparky and fresh. Will we see a paddle battle here, Ben, with 3 minutes and 45 on the clock?
It's always a good sign they're kicking straight off the bat. They're on. Still time left to get back out there and get one more wave for sure. Oh, yeah, looks like Prum's pretty keen on it.
Some people think the kicking kind of creates more drag. What's your stance on the kicking? I mean, it looks like, I want this. It's good desire. It's good passion. Ooh, okay. Louise Leprant just pulling away.
Both, yeah. I think it doesn't make you go faster, kicking. I don't know. I just don't think. I think the propulsion you get from the feet in the water doesn't equate to the loss of momentum you get from the movement on top of the board. But I don't know. It would need some type of scientific study, I'd imagine. Scientific study right here, as we see Leprant, the Giffy footer, finishing off. It's a series of low scores. Suzuki still without that one, just the one scoring wave, still in the lead. And this wave from Prum, again, she kicks the fins out. So small the waves. She's catching a lot of those, taking the less patient approach, but only needing a 3.18. So you can sort of see why with 2 minutes on the clock, she's pulled the trigger there.
I thought that turn was like the sort of maximum juice you could have squeezed from that section from Freya Prum. I thought that's really technical, really nicely done. I also like the paddle into. I like an entry where surfers wait a while before you don't paddle and go straight to your feet.
Yeah.
I do like that neutral position for a while. It just builds the anticipation. What's going to happen? 2 on the clock here. Suzuki still leading this just with a single wave ridden. 7.33. Best score of the morning. News is we're going off after this. Tide coming in. We're going to call it. We have a good day coming tomorrow. So we just tried to get through this round of 48. And we've been able to get half of that done. There are 8 heats in this round. We'll wrap up in about 1 minute and 40's time. At the moment, it is Freya Prum who's jumped to second to 3.5, a crucial number. We are waiting for a score for Louise Leprant. She only needs a 2.33, Ben. Multiple backhand hits. Good chance of getting that.
Yeah, you'd think so with a few turns on a, decent-sized wave. A 2.33 is such a small number. So you'd expect it just to maybe edge ahead of Prum. So tight, minute on the clock, no scores in. I mean...
Well, as I predicted, Ben, it is ultimately going to come down to, really, it's looking for a 2 and crucially getting a 3. 3.3 puts her in first place position with a 3, with a minute to go in this heat. And sometimes it's all about that pragmatic approach. And it is a game where 2 surfers will advance, whatever the numbers are. Meanwhile, the surfer with the high score will catch a second wave and will shred one down into the pocket. Just uses that rail, and then the wave will disappear. So Moro Suzuki in the red singlet, who's had to be really patient in this. Eventually, she cracks and she goes away. It won't be a great one, but it will be a small number. She requires less than a 0.5 to go back to first. Here's Ariane Ochoa. And whenever you see a surfer looking behind them as they paddle into a wave, generally not a good sign. Here she'll go. Meanwhile, though, and just crack this. A couple of quick turns from her. Never really with the down-the-line speed, and a picture of dejection. She'll make her way in here, and just not a lot of energy. It'll be disappointment for the surfer out of the Basque Country.
Yeah, she's really, really feeling that. You could see on her face the emotion, disappointment after all this time thinking about it, the opportunity. She knows this wave well. She's great on her backhand, and unfortunately, she knows that score wasn't enough. She's really, really upset, and you can feel for her. Still, the score was just not enough. So Suzuki just did enough. That 7.33 was enough. So a bit of drama at the end, but Suzuki and LePron over the line and into the next round, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, what a contrast for Amoro's 2 waves. You know, the high score of the day, the 7.33, just ripped it, really. Really good surfing, and then just grubbing around for a 1, basically, just to make sure she hang on to that first place position. It just goes to show when you're dealing with the ocean, well, there's all sorts of things that can unfold, but we'll keep Amoro Suzuki alive in the draw here, and well with Louise Lepron. We're calling it off for the day here, but we're not done in terms of the action that we're bringing you. We're going to bring the post-show, break down the talking points from the day, look forward to what's coming as well. Stay tuned for the post-show from Ericeira, Portugal, right after this.
The security team is right downstairs by the jelly store. We will appreciate it, and so I say for the family. It's all workout, I'm pretty sure. Informação importante, talvez a criança não consiga ter informação relativamente à nacionalidade. Estará todo vestido de preto, calções e t-shirt ou sweatshirt preta. Por favor, fiquem com atenção. Se por acaso virem para uma criança com esta descrição sozinha pela praia, perguntem e caso se confirme, encaminhem-se com por favor, ao encaminho diretamente à equipa de segurança que está aqui na estrutura principal junto à torre dos juízes. Muitíssimo obrigado. Obrigado a todos. Thank you so much. His name is Birdie. He's 10 years old. And with some blue glasses. So we got some more info. The name of the child is Birdie. He's 10 years old and he's wearing some blue glasses. Could be sunglasses or purple glasses. Temos mais alguma informação relativamente à criança? He's from Great Britain. So we should talk English. He's from Great Britain. So it's Bernie. Bernie, if you can hear me, Bernie, all salute, Bernie. There's, you see the big, Bernie, if you see that there's a big flag in the middle of the beach, the Portuguese flag, Bernie, just go there and someone will meet you, okay? If you can hear me, Tem mais informação relativamente à criança, é da Grã-Bretanha, tem 10 anos e é o Bernie, chama-se Bernie, está então o vestido preto. Deve ser magnífico, isto foi.
Welcome to the Estrella Galicia post show here from the EDP Ericeira Pro. It's a Sunday morning which saw us fire up with around 48 for the women. In kind of small, softish conditions, things slowed up, and ultimately it meant we called it, but it doesn't mean we don't have talking points and takeaways from the morning, and here to deliver those red hot takes and searing insights. Joining myself, Paul Evans, Ben Money and Chris Benz. Guys, what do you got for me?
Well, we started off, we had some fun waves, we had some pretty sort of tight technical surfing, especially from the Japanese surfers in those early rounds. But the tide came in, the swell tapering off, and with the promise of more swell, we've decided to call it quits after 4 heats. But we've got to start. I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, testament to the forecast we've got ahead of us. There's plenty of waves to be had over the week. Why run today? The tide was going to come in and make things even slower. And, yeah.
Done.
Well, of course, just first day of competition, a big week of surfing yet to come. Let's talk to someone who's already shown us how much quality she's got. Amuro Suzuki, winner of that last heat, is with Joanna Garnell.
Absolutely. Last heat of the day. How did that go for you?
It was very slow hit. I was like so much pressure in the water, but I'm so happy to make 7 points. Yeah.
Yeah, you just rode 2 waves, but what put you through was your 7.33.
Yeah, I wasn't expect I get 7 points, but I'm super happy to make the hit.
And how does it feel to have a big support group here with you?
I come with my Japanese friend, and my coach is Hinata. Very good team, and yeah, I'm so happy to stay with this.
Do you want to say a few words in your native language for the people back home?
応援ありがとうございます。次も頑張るので応援よろしくお願いします。Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you. See you. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanna. Talking Heads said home is where they want to be, but do you know what? I think I'd rather be here in Ericeira, Portugal.
Ah, stop making sense, Paul. Stop making sense. Yeah, it's a place to be. It's the only surf show in town, and we got off to a great start. And surfers like Amuro and are in, you know, and she's down the rankings, but still so dangerous.
Let's get a rewind on this morning's action and check out recaps from what went down this morning. Women's competition called on by Travis Logie early doors. And you mentioned it, Ben, the story of the Japanese surfers. They've been on a roll here. There's a strong contingent of them, really, on the Challenger Series, and a lot of them knocking at the door. We saw some big performances go down. Even just looking at the size of the waves early on, we've lost quite a bit of the height in the swell.
Yeah, it does show, doesn't it? Nanako was off early on and she was electric. And yeah, that was that new swell. The swell from yesterday was still hanging around. The tide was low, and yeah, it was really fun and contestable. Teresa Bomblo had a slow start, but she managed to find some really nice waves and picked off 4 or 5 backhander entries on that one alone. So yeah, the call to start was a bit of a no-brainer.
It's a bit of a classic cliche. Obviously, you can't win the event on the first day, but you can get knocked out. No safety net on the Challenger Series, and it'd be understandable to have some nerves. I guess it's all about the surfers that can surf through that, stay mentally strong, find their waves.
Yeah, and this lady, Sarah Wakita, one of the most polished performances for the day for mine. Didn't bother with priority, saw that there was a lot of potential further down the line and sat a little bit below the peak and absolutely schooled her heat. She'll be advancing through the next round. We just saw Amuro Suzuki, first Japanese lady to surf on the CT. Was meant to get the wildcard of the year that Carissa Moore pulled out. And then unfortunately for Amuro, COVID came along and Carissa Moore's year off coincided with everyone having a year off, and Amuro got bounced once again. But here's Sarah Wakita, and she was just flowing through her turns and then punching the end section and making it count. So great performance from Team Japan in the 4 heats this morning.
Yeah, it does feel like we've seen that marked contrast between the not so good waves, the low scores, and the keepers. And a real difference in energy, in how dynamic the surfing is. Wakita just absolutely tearing through it. Plenty of surfers out of Japan were able just to find the juice here, Ben, and get these steeper sections and basically keep that board alive and stay on the attack.
Yeah, they had board speed, which was pretty crucial at this stage. They managed to get those waves that allowed that. And they've always got that real energy, don't they? They're always showing a lot of speed. And then Noah Clark, who had a slow start, she came back. And Suzuki just kept piling on the pressure and the points through her round. But yeah, it was good to see Clark get that one solid score and get through, keep the European dreams alive. And, well, they ran a shower, just never got started, couldn't get any type of purchase in the heat. And it was this surfer we just spoke to, and this is the turn of the morning. Turn of the event so far, only had 4 heats, but that was an absolute incredible finish, and we expect to see more of those when we resume tomorrow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we're poised. Basically, we've done half this opening round, just the 4 heats, 4 more to go. Heats coming up will feature names like Zoe Benedetto and Sol Aguirre. Also names like Eva Wong out of Hawaii, a great young surfer. Nikki Van Dyke, with all that experience and that pedigree she's got, she'll be coming up in heat number 7. Kika Vaselko, well, junior champ. She'll be representing Portugal and hoping to do well in that last heat of the round. Also, that one's going to feature TT Zabrowski, 13 years old, a sensation of European and global surfing. I'm putting her down. She wins everything she enters at the moment. I'm putting her down as a pre-event favourite for this one already at 13.
Well, yeah, she's won 3 in a row. She's 13. She's from Tahiti, pro snowboarder parents. Incredible talent, so young and so committed. So, yeah, to see her go up against some of those names you just mentioned, Paul, yeah, I can't wait to see how she goes. Favourite might be a bit strong.
Binsey, how do you feel about maybe a 7:30 call for an 8 a.m. start tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
That sound good?
Wouldn't mind if it was a degree or 2 warmer than it was this morning. It was icy. Some of the surfers were in 4.3, but the water temperature's still fine. And, yeah, 7:30, that works.
We're underway here on the Challenger Series at the EDP Ericeira Pro. We'll send you out with some highlights, and we'll see you tomorrow. Ate amanhã.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.